We'll We'll like to welcome you to everything there is to know. This is our life, this is our time where the passport grows. We'll like to welcome you to everything there is to know. This is our life, this is our time where the passport grows. We would like to welcome you to everything there is to know. This is our life, this is our time where the passport grows. We would like to welcome you to everything there is to know. This is our life, this is our time where the passport, bro. Show. What is going on, brothers? What is going on? It is your dude, Mr. International Passport, here with Mr. Theo Waffle. Yet another future, a future classic live show. Hope you're doing well, worldwide brothers. Hope you're doing well. Okay. So first and foremost, brothers, please hit the like button. Likes are extremely important. Make sure you join the Patreon. Okay, join the Patreon for intel on stocks, crypto, travel, foreign women intel. Go on the Patreon as well to check that out. And of course, book your IT consultation with me to help you get into IT and help you give you some IT guidance, okay, and some value. Aside from that, cop the merch, etc., etc., and of course, be a part of the international passport ecosystem by joining the Reddit page, the Discord server, etc., etc. Okay, so let's get straight into it. It is a hot Monday over in the UK. Phil, what's over there where you at, bro? Is it hot or cold?
It's actually, this is one of the cooler summers we've had in Austin. So it's actually amazingly cool here.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's not that hot at all. So I mean, it's like about 82, 83. Not so bad. Yeah. It's very surprising because normally in Austin, right about now, it's about 102 outside, 103. So it's been pretty good.
Incredible. Awesome, Phil. Awesome. So before we go straight into this live stream topic, Mr. Phil Watt has a special announcement to speak on. Pick it up for us, Phil.
Hey guys, so some of you guys want to go to the Black Manosphere Conclave, which is going to be September 6th through September 8th in Houston. This is my conclave, basically. It's where we get together with like-minded Black men. We talk about a lot of issues that are affecting us as a group, and this is also where I talk about not only investments, but how to become a passport bro and how to take my course. It's a requirement to go to the conclave in order to enroll in my course. There's less than 100 seats available. When I say less than 100 seats, I mean it. Like, we are at a certain point at this point that, well, we don't have enough seats. There's not enough space. So, yeah, Obsidian is one of my speakers. That's it. So I'm Theo Waff. I'm like he always Obsidian always refers to me as one of the four horsemen. So you guys need to, if you guys want to go, I say please don't wait till last moment. Not only is the price increasing, but there may not be room for you. And last year, a lot of people signed up at the last moment. There are more people going to this conclave than conclaves 1 through 3 combined. So please get on it because we need to secure your position. I'm not trying to do a sell. What I am trying to avoid is you coming to me the week of the conclave and saying, why can't we get in there? Or why can't I, study this? Or I want to study with you. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't. You have to go next year to Conclave 5. So if you want to go to Conclave 4, please get on it as soon as you can.
Yeah, brothers, please go to it. It is a once in a lifetime opportunity set up by Mr. Theo Waff himself. And we're very grateful for Theo for what he does for Black men and the Black community, particularly for straight Black men, brothers who are in IT too, brothers who aspire against IT. So if you're in America, you have no excuse. If I was in America right now, I would be at that conclave, but I'm not in America. You can tell by my accent, right? So I'm telling you, brothers, right? Okay, go to that conclave. There's only a few spaces left. You're gonna network with brothers. He also has an option where he will teach you cloud if you buy the additional Azure DevOps Cloud option and you be in Theo's class. You're gonna be amongst your peers who can inspire you, network. And I mean, this is what we need as brothers, man. You know, as aspiring passport bros. Go to that conclave. There's only a few passes left. I would be there if I was in America, but I'm not. Okay,
you would be teaching there. I'd have you as one of my special speakers. I know you have to conceal your identity. You're 005. Somebody else is 007. So we have to. I know you're like one of Britain's top spies, so we get you. But yeah, we would definitely have you as one of the speakers if we could. It'd be great. I think you have a lot to say and to add to it. But yeah, it's really been growing. There's going to be a lot that we're going to be doing there. It's going to be a fun thing to go to. Everybody loves it. I think it's just a really fun thing to go to. So guys, get to it, go for it. You're going to love it.
Awesome. Link is in the on the page over here, and it'll be posted throughout tonight. It's also on the live stream chat. Okay, so let's get straight into it. So the title of this live stream, as you can see, right, okay, is does the Black community need to replace Black culture with Asian culture? Okay, so why have we decided to speak on this topic? As you know, the current state of the Black community, okay, is an absolute joke. It is abysmal, not only in America, but also in the UK too and other Western countries. Okay, something isn't right. Something isn't clicking, right? We as Black people in general, Black community, Black men, we are so far behind when it comes to power, global politics, making global power moves. It's like we're just there existing. I don't like that. Okay, I want us to be at the top. I want us to be, sitting on that table. So throughout my life, right, I've observed that there's one particular community that is doing exceptionally well right now in the world, and that's the Asian community. And when I compare the Black community and the Asian community together, right, it's like two different polar opposites. What are they doing that we need to do, right? Do we need to have a discussion as to us replacing the Black culture, okay, with Asian culture? And there's going to be a number of points as to what me and Theo believe as to what Asian culture does very well, and do we need that in the Black community to prosper, thrive, and get ourselves back on track, okay? So the first point, right, I want to talk about is shame. Shame. And I'm not referring to Game of Thrones, which when they doing that scene, it's like shame. If you know what I'm talking about, Theo brothers.
That was a good scene. I liked it. Oh yeah, that was good.
I really want to say something naughty and controversial, but I'm gonna keep it PG. So, in the Asian community, right? Okay, shame is a big part in the community. If you embarrass the elders, if you embarrass the image of Asian people, all right, you will get shamed from the elders all the way to the juniors. So, for example, right, notice how we don't see an Asian Cardi B. Notice how we don't see an Asian Megan Thee Stallion. Notice how we don't see an Asian Ruby Rose. Why is that? You know? Because that's not flying in their community. An Asian chick going on stage rapping about doing nonsense and twerking, that's bringing great shame to Asian image and their community. Asian women know not to act like that. They will get shamed and called out for it. Bill, do you disagree or do you agree there, bro?
Yeah, I disagree with you. I mean, sorry, I definitely agree with you. I'll give you an example. So a lot of like the J-pop in Japan, they have in their contracts that the girls are supposed to maintain a certain image, and So these girls that they go out and they party, they go out and do their singing, they do their performances, and it's actually kind of grueling for them. And the paparazzi will kind of will kind of follow them, and if they see a guy walking out of her apartment or her house at say like 7 o'clock in the morning or something like that, she's in national news, like literally. And then usually she'll lose her K-pop contract. And can you imagine that in America? She'd an American woman would have like an OF account and doing it like blatantly and singing or something like that, something entirely in your face. Whereas Japan, just walking out of your apartment on Sunday morning at 7 a.m. means you've lost your contract. So that element of shame needs, I would say, yeah, it does need to return. It would go a lot further in especially in Black America.
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely. And brother, the current state of the Black community is that there's no shame in the Black community field, and that's why we're seeing the wrong people represent us in politics, in the music, in the entertainment space, and in the global space. Okay, because there's no shame, right? We're seeing our own people, right, go up on stage saying the N-word repeatedly, rapping about killing their own people. We're seeing our own people twerking randomly on cars, in some cases twerking on police officers, feel. In some cases twerking on police officers. Show me an Asian woman, right? No, I'm being serious here, brothers. Can someone show me a video of an Asian woman twerking on a police officer right now? That's not happening, because guess what? They got shame in their community. Shame is a big part in keeping people grounded and humble. We don't have that in our community, feel. Let's keep it real.
Yeah, I think that's definitely an issue. There's, and particularly with the women, it's almost like they can do no wrong. They can do anything that they want, and that is definitely an issue. I think there's a lot of mistakes there, and you need to have some guardrails in there. And celebrating degeneracy really doesn't promote culture, or really doesn't promote a progressive and active culture. So I think it's a shame what they do. Can't do anything about it, but I think it's a shame. I think it's horrible.
Facts, Phil. Absolute facts. So the next point here, right, which may tie to the first point, is single mother culture, which is something that is prevalent in the Black community to the point where I feel it is celebrated. It is celebrated that, if you're a single mother, you're a boss babe, you're independent. It's even incentivized, feel that, listen, try and do anything to get the man out of the house for certain checks or whatever. And feel, can you, unless I'm in a different world here, okay? I've not seen across the Asian community, whether they're Koreans, Japanese, Chinese, Taiwanese, whatever, right, celebrate single motherhood. They look down upon single motherhood.
Yep.
They shame that kind of way of life. And we in the Black community don't do that. Break it down for us, Phil.
Yeah, because they recognize the importance of having a man around, and even if the man is poor, if he's like, he's only like, let's say that he only makes ramen on the streets, right? So that's not a lot of money, but he still is respected. Plus, they don't have welfare. So this is the big thing about welfare. So let's talk about Asia, like Japan, Korea, like those areas. In both countries, less than 2% of all mothers are single mothers. You just don't be a single mother. It's not. There's a lot of pressure on the culture for them to stay together. Plus, there is no welfare established for the woman. So those two come together is very important. Plus, the man has rights, so the woman can't just take the child away. He has the right for visitation, like 50% custody, if not more. So this gives a very different dynamic, and the woman can't just do things that are anti-family. I look at, like, again, I think that welfare being instituted in the United States, it had good intentions. People were trying to solve a problem, but what actually happened was the destruction of many households. It was actually destructive in nature, and is still destructive to nature to this day. I mean, to the point that, I mean, every man is competing against the government regarding being the father of the house, being the leader of the house. And that's just ridiculous. That's something that we should not be having at all. So, Asian culture is the way to go in this area.
Thanks, Phil. Phil, you mentioned how ABW, right, do things that are anti-family. Do you mind expanding as to what that means? Well, what kind of actions do ABW do in the West that are anti-family, Phil?
Well, I mean, as a demographic, I mean, you have, or actually, if you look at the statistics, there are by far more ABW who have multiple baby daddies collecting multiple, what can I say, not only child support payments, but also getting welfare payments in order to support their children. And then not only feeling no remorse about it, but celebrating it and trying to jack the system. So again, how many? I have never heard a non-white woman go around talking about how, like, when she is 18 years old, she can get a certain amount of money from the government if she becomes a single mother, or what's the value of every child born in terms of government assistance. I've never heard it. I mean, and we're talking about it like industrial policy. Like, this is how I'm going to jack the government to give money towards me. This is going to be my policy for actually maintaining my value or cash flow for the next 20, 30 years. I've heard it. I don't know how many times from ABW, just consistently. And I'm sure you have the same thing in London. Sorry, in the UK. So I know it's also in Australia. So this is horrible. Basically, as far as I'm concerned, the welfare state has got to go. There has to be limitations on it. And basically, if women don't get remarried, or they're not able to sustain their life, as far as I'm concerned, I think the kids should be removed from her, given to other families. It's quite a hit, but if you're just going to go out and constantly breed without any concern and expecting the government to be paying for you, then I don't think you're a fit parent. You shouldn't have children.
Facts, Phil. Facts. You know, come to think of it, right? I've never seen an Asian chick with multiple baby daddies.
Never. I've never seen it either. Nah. No, I've seen, okay, so I've seen like Japanese women who, like, something happened to the father. Like, this is like Yokohama. This is like in the middle of nowhere. So she gets pregnant and she has one kid, and then she marries another guy and she has a kid with him. But she's married with the second guy. But unmarried and two kids with two baby daddies, no. In fact, the expression baby daddy, like that, if I would speak it in like Japanese or Korean, to them it's pretty much a foreign concept. They're like, what are you talking about? You know, we don't understand what you're saying. But in the West, it's a common parlance. This is horrible. So I think Asians definitely have the proper way. They know what they're doing.
Facts, Phil. Absolute facts. So the next point here, Phil, I want to speak on, okay, is the fact that I've noticed that Asian parents give a lot of help to their children. I've
Mm.
noticed that, whether it's giving them money to pay for their rent if they're abroad studying, or or they're in home studying, or giving them money to buy a property or a car, they always help their children. But I've noticed in the Black community field, right, is that when you turn 18, most people, a lot of people in the Black community tell their children, go and figure it out yourself. They even tell their children, listen, I had no help, so therefore you go out there and figure it out yourself. So you got an 18-year-old young Black man, right, out there in the world, no support from parents, okay? And he may be going through a rough time, where in the Asian community, money's coming in from the parents, for living costs, living expenses. But I even know some Chinese people, right, okay, in the UK, parents are bankrolling their education or their rent to make sure that they're supported and they can actually, push on with their dreams. In the Black community, parents tell their kids, go and figure it out yourself. Go out there and get the bag. But guess what? It's tough nowadays for a lot of young Black people, particularly young Black men. They may need some help. They may need some parental help, right, to get that launch pad in their lives. But guess what? Phil? I don't see that in the Asian community. They always help their kids. Do you agree or disagree there, Phil?
Well, the oldest son is expected to live with the parents even when he gets married. So he's not going anywhere. That's one big thing with the oldest son. So he has the responsibility. So of course the parents pour all of their resources into the eldest son, because when they're dying in their older years, when they need care, the son is going to do that. Going to take care of them. So it's not even like there's not even an option. So we're talking about then the second or third son really being able to leave. The first son, if he wants to live outside the house, ain't going to happen. He inherits the house. So it means that he can work a bit less, right? Because the parents' resources go into him. So he can work a bit less, but at the same time, he's not going to be able to become a passport bro. That's for sure. Yeah, he's staying right there. Yeah, he's not going anywhere. The Asian women, they're not required to take care of their parents at all. So they're more or less free to move. It's why, like, they talked about feminism in Asia, and women taking having the same like opportunities as the men. And one of the clapbacks has been, okay, so you take responsibility of their parents, because that's what the sons have to do. They take responsibility of the parents. So are you going to do that? If you're not going to do that, then just be quiet. And I think that's a pretty important part. So in terms of the Black community, I think that's very much true, that a lot of Black men are just thrown out of the house, like, 18 years old, high school. Okay, go out and figure it out. It has some detriment. For myself, I mean, I left my house when I was 18. I was very happy to do that. I had full scholarship. Some people have military, so they just go do that. Me not want to be at home, but to be honest, in some situations, it is actually beneficial to be at home and then stack up your money. But it matters where you're at, what kind of environment you have.
But Phil, there's many cases where Asian kids, right, are getting money from their parents to start businesses, right, or to buy up a block, right? And it just seems like, when an Asian child, right, wants to do something, okay, his parents or her parents are going to fund their ambitions. We don't have that in the Black community, bro. So let's say, for example, Phil, right, there's a brother that needs funding for a business, okay? Black parents may have it, but they won't give it to him. Okay. Whereas Asian person has Asian parents, they got the money too, and they will get that funding from their parents. I've noticed that, Bill. Like they always get handheld when it comes to money, opportunity, and make sure they have a nice boost in life, whether it's businesses, whether it's working for the parents. But we don't get that as brothers feel.
That's the eldest son who gets it. Remember, the eldest son has to take care of the parents. So the parents will give money to take for some sort of business ambition, but it's a responsibility of the son to use that money to like get a return on investment to take care of the parents later on in life. So if you're saying, yeah, we don't get that, but we also don't have to take care of the parents, it's a catch-22 in a way. It's not entirely like freedom, so they have to do something for it. Some places this works really well. There's not an issue. Some places this is not so good. I don't know. I kind of go back and forth on this one. For example, for myself, if my parents funded my business ideas, and let's say that worked, well, I would be stuck in Illinois for the rest of my life. That would be intolerable to me. But if there's a guy, actually, to tell you the truth, I have one good friend. Let's talk about him real quick. I got a good friend who his father was a doctor. He's Asian, and his father funded his education and then his med school. So they're both Asian, right? Of course. And the father lives with him, and he can't find an Asian girl to reproduce with it because they're living in the middle of nowhere. Well, actually, that's where I grew up. I grew up in the middle of nowhere. So he has plenty of money. I mean, he has filet mignon all the time. I remember seeing his posts about that. But he can't get married. So what do you do then? So there's some good points to it, but it would say, he would have done better as a passport bro, leaving and getting his wife and maybe never returning, or bringing his father over with him to another country. But that didn't happen. So such is life.
Flaming what? Flaming yo? What's that?
Filet mignon. Filet mignon. Filet mignon is like the best cut of steak. French expression. It's about, it's like $35 for like 500 like, what is it? I don't know, 500 grams, something like that. I forgot how much it is. Filet mignon. There it goes. Bubble Guppy said it. So it's just extremely tasty. Like half pound is like $35, something like that.
Okay. Shout out to Mr. Tiberius for the support. Shout out IP and Phil. Thank you, bro. Let's be honest, in the Black community, it's not that we don't get guidance. We are often misguided and had to figure out the right way ourselves. That's a great point. We many times, right, we're not given the guidance, right, to be successful in this world. Where Asians always guide their children. There's always guidance from that community to know what to do in this life. They're very structured and not more than we are, Theo, in the Black community. Do you agree or disagree, brother?
Well, yeah, I would. Well, okay. This is kind of a sensitive point. And hold on, Bubble Guppy, you can have filet mignon from Wagyu. That's an amazing cut. Just want to say that. Okay, so the question is, what about guidance? What can we make our own way, basically? Well, you kind of can't. So if you are in a dysfunctional environment, it's actually better for you to graft yourself to a functional family, and that way you will get out. So I will say this about my parents, although I love my parents very much, I lived in an extremely dysfunctional household. So particularly when I was in junior high and high school, I grafted myself to a family that was actually functional. And by doing that, I was able to get ahead. Whereas if I did not do that, if I would have stayed the way that I say with my family, only them, and tried to figure it out, the degree to which I could have been successful would have been much more limited because I didn't have the guidance for it. But in the other family, I had the guidance. Now, when I went to university, this is the next step. Most of my classmates were Asians. My study mates were Asians, in particular Koreans. I went to church with Koreans. I ate with Koreans. I talked with Koreans most of the time. I am very thankful to Koreans for what they did because they gave me a lot of structure, and there wasn't like any booty calls with Koreans. There was book calls, like let's go get some books. Let's get ramen at 2:00 in the morning and have ramen, rice, and kimchi. We did that all the time. But it wasn't anything like let's do this or that with this girl. No, it was all of us were not dating, but we were making jokes, we're having fun talking, but we were studying. That was the big thing. We were studying nonstop. And that structure, I think, was very good for me because I wasn't getting anybody knocked up. Instead, I was studying and becoming the best version of myself that I could while I was in school. So, hey, hats off to them. I just want to say my point is, in both cases, I grafted myself to another group because the group that I was in that I came with was actually dysfunctional. And that's how I got ahead.
Awesome. So next point here, Theo, right, is a sensitive point, okay? And it's more about the control of religion. Now, I'm starting to realize that, so when I speak of Asian people, when I see their culture, religion doesn't control their culture. So a lack of religion, right, for the Asian people means that, they strive for something else. And from what I see, it's success, it's monetary success in the main cases. And there's a reason why, a lot of Asians I come across, right, whether if they're Chinese or Chinese British or Korean British, whatever, they're always loaded, bro. They're always loaded. I've never come across a poor Asian in my life in the UK, bro. And I'm being serious. So I feel like in the Black community, right, religion has taken a crazy amount of control to the point where they're not focusing on what matters in this world right now. We live in a capitalistic society, okay? And, we got to get the bag. Asians are about getting the bag, right? But when it comes to the Black community, there's no hunger, right? From what I see, it's all about religion first, blah blah blah. But guess what? Listen, baby, we in the hood. We in the hood. Now, I'm not against religion, Theo, right? Of course, religion is amazing. I'm not against it at all, right? I'm just saying, like, China's on top right now. Chinese, they don't believe in God, Theo. The Chinese don't believe in God, Theo. It's an atheist nation, and they're on top right now, Theo. Right? They don't, at this point in time, Theo, with inflation going around, with people suffering, the Chinese are chilling, bro. They're chilling. Koreans too, Japanese too, and they don't believe in God. Let's keep it real, Theo. I feel like religion, the Black community and Black culture, has allowed religion to take a really strong hold to the point where they're missing out on what can make you comfortable. Because we all need comfort, right? Asians got that, and they ain't religious. Something ain't mapping here for you, bro. Break it down for me.
Well, I mean, Koreans, I would say 50% of Koreans are Christian. Koreans are, largely speaking, I would say, one of the most Christian nations in the world, if not the most Christian. They are like hyper Christian, to be honest. So, I mean, I was very thankful to be with them in studying churches. Japan and Japan and China are largely atheist. That's true. Well, China suppressed all religion through the Communist Party, and so it just wasn't able to do anything. Even now, if you start a Christian church, it has to be registered to the Chinese government. So that's definitely an issue, right? You don't have freedom of religion. I would say it's good that there's not an abuse of religion there. I think that's good. You're not having any like mega churches or anything like that, which is, I think, is ridiculous. But at the same time, we're talking about the Black community, which is what part of our podcast is. There was a time in which religion was actually very valuable to us, and it had held the community together as we were going through hell. And now what we see is how many Black men have just totally left the church. It's a huge number. It's because the church has become a wing of feminism, basically, within the Black community. So Black men aren't going to stand up for that, and they're not going to go to church anymore. And now we have, but I think that from the Black community, we have a problem, definite problem, because if strong Black men aren't going to church, then if there's a bunch of women in church praying for a man, who's going to be sent? It's not going to happen. There's not going to be a man. So what do you do? To be honest, I don't care. I've had my peace with this, to be honest, especially with Kevin Samuels talking about this from time to time. It's just an issue. What I say is, Black men, you should avoid religion and avoid supporting religion financially, and instead you should be putting your money towards your career and your assets. That's where you're going to blossom.
Oh, but you're saying Black men should avoid religion. Okay, hold on. You're saying Black men should avoid religion, but do you mean that Black men can still believe in God, but don't be giving your checks to, obviously, churches right in the West? Is that what you mean, Theo?
Yeah, I mean, if you could, too bad if you could look up my shelf up there. I've got plenty of religious texts up there. I have the Bible in Hebrew and in Greek up there on the shelf right now. I used to study it in Hebrew and in Greek. I was ultimate nerd, but I wasn't giving my money to the church. That's the thing.
Why not?
I didn't see the point of it.
Mm.
There's just no reason to do it. I might give every once in a while, but not a tithe. I rarely, if ever, did that. I was like, if I'm going to get ahead, I need to put that money towards books, education. I need to eat protein, things like that. How many people do I see in churches? They pay a tithe, and then you look at their diets, and they're eating like, carbs. That's it, carbs, processed carbs, sugar, like that. And I'm like, you need to eat steak. You need to eat chicken. Well, what's wrong? You can't even feed yourself properly. It shouldn't be that way. This is an issue. So my view is put your money into yourself. Then if you want to come back later on and give some money to the church, sure. But do that when you're successful, when you're like, a millionaire or something like that, then give some money over.
Theo, the church asks for 10% of your tithe, right? Mm-hmm. So, and obviously Chinese, Japanese, not religious, okay? So let's have a scenario here, right? You got a Black man who's earning 200K a year, okay, Theo? Then you have a Chinese and Japanese person who's earning 200K a year, Theo, okay? Black man, religious, goes to church. Church says you gotta pay 10% of your salary as a tithe. 10% of 200K is 20K. No. And hold on, Phil. 10K, 20K, around that range, okay? And then you have the Japanese and Korean, right, who are not religious, and they go pay that. So the black man pays 10 or 20K to church, but that money field can be put into a crypto, into a stock, into a business, into a high earning, high yield saving account, and the Korean or Chinese may do that. So Theo, you see, you see where Asians can get ahead that quickly, with that disposable income feel. You get what I'm saying, Theo?
No, no,
Okay,
no.
speak on that, bro. Speak on that. Come on.
Okay, so Japan and Korea, you can't easily invest in the stock, legally speaking. So it's not the easiest thing to do. So that in places where investment are limited in both countries. That's why both countries, the people usually put their money into real estate, because they can do that. And then also in Japan, they put it into currency futures market, because that's where they can actually make money. Now, let's expand this. Let's say that you do have $200,000 a year and you have 2 kids. That means your effective take home would be about 180,000. About 180,000, 170,000 with all the tax breaks. The thing here is, in Asia, they don't have, usually, like, let's say Tokyo or like Shanghai, Beijing, those families don't have cars, because it's burdensome to have a car. So there's no car, and there's no insurance, and there's no paying for gas. This is one thing that I always paid attention to with Americans. And it was not only the tithe that I thought that was not fruitful, but it was paying for this darn car and the car insurance and the tax. So if you combine this together, you're easily looking at 25% of your salary disappearing just because of interest payments and of paying for things that are not going to increase your value. And this is, again, car interest payments, your car note, what else? Insurance, and then your tithe. So that is actually really detrimental to a family. That actually makes it, like, for structurally speaking, financially speaking, that makes life very hard. If you're in Japan, that 170, let's say you're not religious, don't have a car, it's normal. That 170,000 or the 180,000 goes directly in your pocket. So you have to pay for rent, or maybe you have to pay a mortgage, either one. But you can save up a lot of your money to buy something like a house or another apartment or something like that. So you have options. This is where, structurally speaking, Asians crush Western people, absolutely financially. It's absolutely unbelievable, an unbelievable crush. And they are also, they don't have any stress from payments. Whereas in the West, there's always this payment structure. There's always a way of getting part of your salary over to pay for something. And it's really detrimental to the society. So I think Asians have it correct. And we need to learn these principles really within the Black culture, within Black Western culture. We go a long way if we actually did these points.
Awesome. So Theo, still on the point on religion, right? I feel like religion is stopping Black men, particularly Black men, from going full capitalist. So let me give you an example, right, Theo, right? Mm-hmm. Let's say there's a country on this earth, like Congo, okay? Well, it's not Congo, it's a different country, right? Somewhere in Asia, okay, that has the most lithium reserves in the world, okay? And then you're a rich businessman, okay? And you know that if you want to invest in lithium there, if you want to have a lithium mine extracting sort of company there, it's going to involve practices where there'll be human rights abuses, there'll be people working in the mines, inhaling chemicals, lack of safety procedures in that particular lithium mine. Because you're religious, you probably won't go ahead with it because you know that it's a human rights issue. Okay, hold on for you, right? But let's say that there's a person that's non-religious, okay, and he's aware that if he creates a lithium mine in that country that has the most lithium mines in the world, there'll be many people in that country that will suffer human rights issues, lack of safety helmets, inhaling chemicals, being paid pretty badly, just all sorts of nonsense, right? Really bad things. The non-religious person will still go ahead with it, Theo, because it's going to make him a lot of money. And also, that's what's happening today, brother, in Congo. Congo has the most lithium reserves in the world. Okay, and there are some very bad practices happening right now in Congo, unfortunately. And guess who controls the lithium industry in Congo, Phil, and who's also atheist? That's the Chinese. The Chinese control the Congo lithium industry in Congo, which is very sad. And the Chinese are making crazy amounts of money. Okay, and people there in Congo are being mistreated while they dig up the lithium resources. So religion, and I'm not saying that I want black men to be doing those kind of bad practices. I'm just giving an example there. But religion does stop black men from going full on capitalist, where to the point is, if you go full capitalist, right, there'll be negative effects on other people who will make it that capital. Let's keep it a stack for you, bruv. Let's keep it 100 for you, bruv. Break it down for you, brother. Let's keep it real.
This is, I mean, I'm kind of like, okay, I mean, there's always going to be some sort of gargantuan corporation that is going to be there in order to extract some sort of resource. I mean, that's happened since forever, right? And particularly in Africa, but also in the West, you have usually some government-backed huge corporation that is financing some sort of extraction methodology or process and taking the resources away without much benefit to the people who are there, right? I mean, let's look at colonialization. That was for how long that kind of stuff happened. So if the Chinese are doing it right now, I just look at them as just being another power next in line who are doing it.
But they ain't religious, Phil. They don't believe in the Most High, Phil. They don't have religion. It's like,
it's just power. They're just another power coming through. The only reason, what is it, Genghis Khan didn't do it is because he didn't get there. That's it. If he could have gotten there, he would have done it too. So
what the Chinese are doing right now in Congo, right? Because they effectively bought Congo due to obviously corrupt practices by the previous Congo administration. They practically run and own the lithium industry in Congo, which is shocking because what do black people run and own in China? But that's a separate discussion, right? Phil, do you believe that a truly religious person will be doing what Chinese are doing in Congo right now? I don't believe so, Phil. So that
yeah, they would. Yeah,
no,
yeah.
but a person, honestly, but a real principled religious person who's well aware that if he goes ahead with what he's doing in Congo, it could mean negative. It can cause a negative impact on some people who work in those mines in Congo. A true principled religious person, he wouldn't go ahead with it, Phil. And that's why I feel religion stops black men from being full-on capitalist. It does.
No, I mean, the religious people were, doing the slave trade. How many of the religious people were gold miners? Look at South Africa. Highly religious people, gold miners. They, either use Africans in order to be miners, or they go out there and shoot Africans in order to get the land. But they go to church on Sunday. And then you have, of course, the Muslims up in the north. I mean, they're not innocent, and they have quite a history of enslavement. So it's just, well, the way I look at it is just additional powers. That's it. They're only acting based upon power. It's next one. I mean, if the space aliens came down right now, they'd probably go to Africa too for also Siberia for resources, and who knows what they believe, and they wouldn't care. They'd have power. They go take it. They do what they want.
But okay, so okay, a different example for you, right? So I find that people who are not religious, okay, they are very ruthless in trying to acquire wealth, and to the point where they would actually F over someone close to them to get money, because they have no moral, not moral standing, but there's nothing behind their brain saying that, listen, if you do it, God will be angry with you. That's against your religion. To them, it's get the bag by any means necessary. Whereas a religious person, or more than likely, if he's truly religious, would not F over a friend, F over his colleague to get the bag, right? He has principles. I can't do that. I believe in the Most High. I believe in religion. I can't be doing that. Whereas a person who isn't religious will do that for you. Would you agree? Would you agree or disagree, Theo? Let's keep it real.
No. Yeah. The people who are religious, I have to worry about them a lot. So yeah, I'm worried about the religious people just as much as I'm worried about the non-religious people. It's usually motivation and the ability to express power. When you actually have power, then you usually find out who you really are, and you discover yourself, basically. And that's what I've done even myself. I really understand who I am a lot more once I start having power. So yeah, I don't. I think these guys, if they get power, they're going to go ahead and use it. For the most part, it's rare to have a benevolent person. But I've met atheists who are totally benevolent. I've met religious people who are benevolent as well. I can't necessarily pin it on religion. I mean, I wish I could, but no, I can't.
Okay. So next point here, Theo, is when we compare the Asian culture to Black culture, we find that women in the Asian culture, okay, do not have unrealistic standards for their own men, Theo, right? And forget about even the Western culture, so Western Asian people. I'm referring to Chinese people, Koreans, Japanese, Taiwanese, Hong Kong, etc., etc. When a woman is looking for a guy, she's not thinking about he's got to be 6'5", he's got to have gold teeth, diamond chains, he's got to have an 8-pack, he's got to have the best hairline or lineup in the entire world. She ain't thinking of that, Phil. She's not setting unrealistic standards to get a boyfriend or husband. In many cases, is he kind? And she will say, does he have money? But at the main time, okay, is he someone that can look after the family, and does he earn income? Whereas in the BWs in the Black community field, in Black culture, I keep hearing you got to be 6'5", or at least over 6 foot, or he will have no chance. You got to be, have 10 businesses. You got to have the best lineup. Okay, he can't be out here with with glasses because he looks too nerdy. He can't be watching anime or reading manga. That's too nerdy. Okay, feel BWs in our community have set high standards for Black men to the point where I think it's got to be a discussion in the mental health community as to how this is impacting Black men in a very negative light. Brother, you're seeing Black men, right? Unfortunately, sell that white to impress BWs. They're out there selling that white feel. They're out there doing gangbanging stuff feel on the streets to impress BWs. Show me an Asian dude that's got to sell that white or gangbang feel to get a woman in his culture. Feel, you don't see it, feel. Feel, let's keep it real, feel. Let's keep it real.
Okay, so let's look at China, and I would say that China and Japan also have high standards for men to follow. For example, China, you have to be about 175 centimeters, be earning around $40,000 a year, and you need to have your own property and own your own house. Sorry, own your own car. That would be a start, particularly in a metropolitan area. Plus, normally you need to be within 5 years of her age. This is particularly for older women. This is a big issue because, of course, there's a lot of men who aren't going to accept this. So what happens is you get, of course, leftover women, shengyu, in China, and of course they have Christmas cake in Japan after the age of 25. If the woman, if she has a certain amount of demands, then it's just not going to happen. There's men not going to marry her. The difference is if you have these women who have these high standards, some of them are irrational. If they have these high standards in Asia, these women don't become single mothers. They simply continue to have the high standards, are unable to get married, and then they die alone. It's a very simple process. So they just don't repeat. They don't reproduce. The difference that we have here in the West is, particularly with Black culture, is that she just goes out and gets anyone, gets pregnant with him, and then goes around and says, men ain't ish, and then expects people, she expects to be recognized as a victim, and she needs resources. So she needs government resources or other people take care of her, GoFundMe, blah, blah, blah. You never see GoFundMe like this in Asia. Impossible. So look at the difference, a woman with unrealistic standards in the West usually leads to single motherhood and the funding of the establishment of the pipeline from school to prisons for men, for boys, in particular Black boys. You won't have this in Asia at all. So at least if the older women didn't become single mothers like this in the West, it would go a lot further. It would solve a lot of problems right then and there. I basically, in a nutshell, if you're going to be educated, you need to use your education in order to benefit a family, not to make somebody work even harder. So, I have 2 master's degrees. I don't use my master's degrees in order to make women in my life work harder for me. Instead, I provide a benefit. And I'm not talking about even if it is a financial benefit, I can do that, but it's more leadership. It's more direction and listening and the ability to help people. And this is one of the big problems that you have with Western women, well, actually with Chinese as well, is that when they get that extra education, they are not using it for society. They're using it only for themselves. So if women only think about themselves that way, it's the quickest way for them to perish alone, but it also serves as a major detriment to the society. The society can't function. One of the examples that I have of this is the Catholic Church, particularly in the medieval ages. So the priests were unable to get married, right? The priests were actually rather intelligent. They were actually rather educated. So if you have an educated class of people who aren't able to reproduce, that's really not good for the society. But if you see with the Protestant Reformation, you see pastors who are Protestants, they're able to get married, and their intelligence and their resources are passed down to children. That's the way it's supposed to happen. So if you have, again, if we go back onto educated women in the West, they're functioning as priests from the Middle Ages. They're highly educated, non-reproducing human beings. that's not good. So I would say in both cases, they need to learn how to use their assets to benefit society and not being selfish and focusing only on themselves.
Okay. No, great point there, Theo. Absolutely great point. But Theo, I think also a key difference is that, you know, if you're a dealer, if you're a gangbanger, if you're on the street, if you're a roadman, if you're Pookie and Ray Ray, you are instantly attractive in the eyes of many BWs. Whereas for an Asian chick, right, if you are that same type of guy, oh no, she's gonna run away so fast away from you. She might be Usain Bolt, female version 2.0. Okay, she would not want to be near you in any shape or form. That's a key difference there, FPO. Okay, Asian women ain't going for that type of guy in most cases, 95% of cases. Whereas a lot of BWs, they want that guy feel. And that guy feel is a detriment to community, no ambition. He's useless. Asian culture doesn't want that in their culture. Would you agree or disagree there, Theo?
Yeah, this is one place where I definitely agree with you. Unfortunately, Western ABW in particular want to breed with men whom other men consider to be useless or detriment. So for myself, I look at Pookies, Ray Rays, drug dealers, things like that. I look at them as being a detriment to society and destructive. Yet the women choose these men first. The society can't be sustained on that. It's literally impossible. This will not work. And if you go to again, guys, I want to listen to this. Make sure you take your notes here. You go to all of Asia. You are a software engineer. You're an engineer, mechanical engineer, electrical engineer. You do IT. You do AI. Like again, I'm teaching right now. You do Python, like IP teaches. You tell girls that, they're taking you serious. They're definitely going out on a date with you. They're going to sit there and take notes, and, you know, they're going to want that second, third, fourth date. You are their first choice. You're a little nerdy. You talk about anime a little too much. You play video games a little too much. She's down with that. You rarely hear her yelling over that kind of stuff. In fact, I mean, if you're doing your anime or you're playing video games, she might come out and say, "Hey, look, I got some noodles here for you, and I got a beer for you. Are you hungry?" And so while you're playing your game, you can have your beer and noodles, like yakisoba, udon, things like that. I don't know how many times I've seen this before. Can you imagine this in the West? No.
Nope.
And these are the women who choose you, choose these engineers. They're beautiful. These are gorgeous women. Like, you would basically melt if you saw some of these women. They're drop dead gorgeous. So, and they don't have children, and they don't have high body counts. Like, maybe it's like their body count is 1, maybe 2. That's it. And, you know, it was like a guy that she was with for a little while, didn't work out, boom. You know, she lives with her parents. She has a decent job. She makes like $35,000-$40,000 a year, and she's living with her parents. And she meets you, and she's like, "Wow, you know, you're an engineer. You're smart. You're intelligent. I can make babies with you." That's how she's thinking, right? Guys, you should only use your passport, but actually look at that decision tree. What's going to be beneficial for you? Because if you're like an intelligent person like I am, for Western Black women, you are only good enough to educate the kids. So you are pretty much like, you know, back in the day, you had that Viking invasion of Europe. And what the Vikings would do is go get them, the educated people like the monks. And they would castrate the monks, make them the eunuchs, And then these guys, these eunuch monks would go teach their kids, or go teach. They'd be sold as teachers in Europe. That's what ABW want to go do to you if you are educated. They basically want you to be a eunuch. So they want your education, they want your knowledge, and your money to be transferred to her and her kid. But she got down with Pookie and the drug dealer. That's the way she wants it to be. So I would say, guys, why are you even involved in this? I have no idea. When I got back from Japan and I saw this, I was like, these women are nuts. This is not going to happen. But that's what they're really thinking. That's what they really want for you. So just look at how many guys, stepdads, get their own children. Rare, if ever. But if they don't support everything, they don't put all this money in there, they're nothing. And then they don't get any box either. So why would you ever do that? So again, look at the decision. Yeah, it'd be great if ABW did a different decision and chose the educated engineer. It would definitely make black culture blossom. It would be amazing. But suddenly Pookie would be going to Harvard and MIT in order to get an electrical engineering degree, right? But that's not happening.
Facts, absolute facts. So those are all my points. Those are all the points there. To wrap up, Phil, would you say that Asian culture is indeed better than black culture? And does the black community need to replace Asian culture with black culture in this point in time?
I would say that welfare has been extremely detrimental to black culture in the West. It has done severe damage. And if I look at the culture that we had before welfare, that was a good and strong culture. And it promoted education for all of us. It's just that we were living in a very hard time. And if we could have continued, I think we would have really blossomed as a group, and we could have been competitive as a group. But with welfare, no, it's not possible. So get rid of welfare, and we'll see something. Asians are doing extremely well because they're not choosing welfare. Again, decent decisions with men. Marry before you carry. That's a big thing that they also believe in. And keep marriages intact. And you don't just get divorced because you find somebody else better. That's really frowned upon in Asian culture. Basically, if you're the woman, you're married to your man, you are required and expected to be taking care of his children, not being knocked up by every single guy on the block, including the milkman and the IT specialist. You're not supposed to be ridden by everybody, and that's what you have in the West. So we definitely have a problem in the West. My point that I would say to you guys who are listening is, you cannot fix this culture in the West. It's impossible. Do not expect yourself to fix it. You can understand parts of it, but you can't fix it. You need to go fundamentally where the culture promotes family from a historical and structural point of view right now. So right now and historically. So one example, great example of this is Colombia. Another one would be Tanzania, Ethiopia. Other ones would be, again, Japan, Korea, China, Thailand. You got to go someplace else where you actually have a strong family structure, integrate into those cultures, and then make a family. Then you'll be okay.
Facts. Bonus point here before we react to some clips from this week, Theo, is the fact that unfortunately there's a racial slur that has become part of black culture. Okay, and I don't know how that came to be. I think that was a big mistake, and that's the N-word. Okay. which is weird to me. Black people call themselves racial slurs, not only in person, but promoting that word in music, in movies, in TV shows, and exploring that not only in America, but all around the world, to the point where people who are not Black believe that every Black person says that word and refer to each other as that. In fact, people who are not Black see Black people as that word and not Black or human. Okay? That was a big mistake. Now, Asian culture, I have not heard a Chinese slur, a Korean slur, a Japanese slur said in any Japanese, Korean, Chinese media that I've watched. And I've seen quite a few. I've seen quite a few of them. They're not going to go through that kind of routes. It's nonsense because they know that image is very important. And that's one thing I got to give to them. They care about their image. It will be a poor PR decision for them to be calling themselves a Japanese slur in their music, in their TV shows, and in their movies. You know, we have got that wrong in the Black community and in Black culture. Okay. And Asian culture they will never do that. They will never ever do that. Phil, you agree that? Disagree that, Phil?
I believe we have a great dysfunction there. Extreme dysfunction. The fact that it is able to be put on record labels and in the media so much, I have no idea why. And people have talked about that in the sphere. All I say is that it's incredibly detrimental. And of course, you and I are both teachers. We usually have to knock that out inside of our classes, right? Yeah, that's an issue. I'm going to say, like, if you say that in our class, we're going to knock you out. So we have our issues. You never see that with other groups. None. Especially not a racially pejorative term given by another party or given by an oppressive power or a colonial power. No, this doesn't happen. No, it's zero. Impossible. So why this happens in our culture, I don't know. I just think it's totally horrible. It needs to be fixed. It'd be better to do things like Asians do in this place, because Asians don't do that crap. Nah, not at all.
You know, Theo, several years ago, right? I was reading an Asian forum, and one Asian person referred to another Asian person as a slur. It was an Asian slur. I'm not going to say it, obviously, and you know, when he was called out for it, he said that no, but guess what? We're both Asian. They meant nothing, and they told him, I don't care if we're both Asian. We can't be calling ourselves any slurs. So you see how they protect their image and they protect how they're labeled and what's out there. We don't do that in the Black culture. It's like a lot of us in the Black culture, right, lack foresight. You know, it's all about fun. It's all about this, that. It's all about how I feel, blah, blah, blah. But guess what? How about you think about the whole world? The world isn't America. The world isn't, your hood in Baltimore or in Chicago or in flipping whatever state in America. It's bigger than that. Okay? So you saying that word, right, and exporting it, right, throughout global media is extremely detrimental for our image and how we are received and labeled. Asian culture, that's not flying there. Show me a Korean K-pop. Show me K-pop, right, which is the biggest industry right now in the world. You will not hear a single Korean artist say a Korean slur. I guarantee you, if he or she said that, that person will feel the heat in South Korea. They would feel the heat, bro. Let's keep it real, bruv.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with you. Yeah. Yeah, that's it makes no sense. When I was in Japan, I heard racial slurs against Asians and Koreans. But that would be expected, right? But I never heard Koreans and Chinese referring to themselves by the racial slur that the Japanese used. Never. It would straight out impossible. Also, the thing, of course, Japanese called us gaijin, right? Which means foreigner. I never went around and to other, like, especially Westerners and say, yo, gaijin, man. Yo, Gene guy, man. What, gaijin, man? What's up with you, gaijin? No, we never said that. That's crazy. It was more like when we were called that by the Japanese, we're just looking at them like, don't say that to us. Like, that's not cool. Right? And we're not using that term. like we're getting angry with you. Do you want another like August 6th? Right? So like, our military is here. We could do this again. All right. So like just we did not like that at all. This was not a fun thing. So why we do this, I don't know. I think it's a part of a dysfunction. And you see the ABW using it the most. The group that has called me the N-word the most is ABW.
What?
Yeah. They're the worst. Not the men. It's ABW. I was, all I had to do was just eliminate them, and I'm rarely called it. I mean, it happens every once in a while with men, but with women, that's the ABW. They're number one. They use that word like in a heartbeat.
Damn. Yeah, that term needs to be eliminated from the community, but I think it's too late, and that's why Asian culture is the best culture for Black men. When you have your Black children, etc., etc. Because it ain't no games out here. We are there's a lot of problems here, and I'm tired of it. I'm seeing every group of people, right, doing great things. Like I mentioned, right, Japanese got Sony and Nintendo, right, and Mitsubishi. Koreans got K-pop, Hyundai and Samsung. The white man, he's got Tesla, he's got Microsoft, etc., etc. The Chinese man got TikTok, Baidu, Tencent. What do we have as a Black man that's exported throughout the world? What global product do we have as Black men that's exported throughout the world? I'm tired, bro. I'm tired, bruv.
Yeah.
Tired, man.
Like I can.
It
comes to the decisions that we're making, but I would say in particular it's because with the decision that women are making. This is one area where I definitely agree. The decision that women are making here is detrimental to society. You never see a non ABW look at ABW and say, well, that's a really great decision. We should do the same thing. Like, oh yeah. Like, you never see white girls say, I should go date drug dealers and have babies with 5 different men. You just don't have that. Like, you don't see like, Indian women or Latinas looking at ABW and saying, oh yeah, I want to emulate this. This is totally true. And I want to get masculine and yell at people all the time. No, man, it just doesn't happen. They like the curves. That's for sure. I've heard that from many other cultures. They definitely like the curves. But outside of that, no way, they do not. Oh, also the singing voice. Amazing. But outside of that, they're like, yeah, we as one Japanese woman said, we're prosperous because we look at the ABW, we do the opposite. I was dying. I was like, yeah, that's vicious. She's like, yeah, we would never do what the ABW does. It would destroy ourselves. Yeah, it's very funny. It is. I think we said this last week, or I forgot which channel, which broadcast it was. Or some other, maybe it wasn't here, but again, Japanese always said that they knew how to take Black men. They just said, look at what Black women do and do the opposite, and we can get your men.
Easy. Fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, look at that. I mean, it's a very simple process. So there's a great deal of function. I think Black women need to figure it out.
Absolute facts. So that's the end of the first part there. Great discussion there, Phil. Fantastic. Mr. Hold on. Mr. Shout out to Chris Josine La. UK most of my life, moved to Ghana just over a year ago. Been looking to other countries, came across your channel, subscribe. Mr. Chris Josine La, do you want to DM me on Instagram, brother? Definitely want to have a stream about your time in Ghana, and if that's the spot for brothers. So, brother, please DM me on Instagram, brother. Here's my DM on the link. Let's do a stream about your time in Ghana. That'd be great. Thank you, bro. Shout heck. Shout out to Mr. Wallier 3R. Western B-dubs engage in dysgenic breeding, which only perpetuates weak genes and atavistic behavior, which weakens the population overall. I agree, bro. I definitely agree. Thank you for the support. Much appreciated, bro. So let's react to some interesting clips from this week, okay? Hold on. Okay. So let's react to this clip over here. Okay.
Markets around the world have dropped. To other news now, and stock markets around the world have dropped sharply amid fears the US economy could be heading for recession. Japan's Nikkei share index plunged more than 12% at the close today, its biggest fall since Black Monday in October 1987. Hong Kong's Hang Seng fell by 1.5%. In the UK, the FTSE 100 is currently down just a shade over 2%. And in France, the CAC 40 is also down by 1.62%, as you can see on the screen right now. But let's see what's going on across the water in the US. Our correspondent James Matthews joins me now. Afternoon to you, James. The market's not long been open there, so what's going on?
Hi, Matt. Yeah, well, this volatility, of course, was triggered here in the United States. Last Friday, several data reports pointed to low employment growth. It spiked at 4.3% on Friday, and that was slower growth than expected, the lowest since last December, second lowest since the COVID pandemic. So that has prompted fears of a US recession. Some analysts are...
Okay, so that's just that point there. Let me also bring up another video in regards to Japan as well, a market. Hold on for you, okay? So you just heard that there, brother. So this one here as well.
Asia and Europe have been... Stock markets in Asia and Europe have been dropping sharply over fears that the economy in the United States is heading for recession. The falls were sharpest in Asia, with the Nikkei 225 index in Japan falling more than 12%, and there were big drops in Taiwan, South Korea, and China.
Whoa! So this week, literally this week, right today, Monday, the Japan Nikkei dropped 12%, right, which was the biggest drop since 1987, when the Japanese real estate market bubble popped. Okay, so big news. Also last week in America, weak job reports in regards to how many jobs were created, how many people were hired, extremely weak. Okay, so the American market also felt that today, and the stock market was red throughout today. So this could be a problem, right, throughout the world economy, but particularly in Japan, where a lot of passport bros have a lot of focus towards to. Mr. Theowath, what's your thoughts on what's happening in Japan and America stock market? Break it down for us, bro.
I think they're having some degree of trepidation over who's going to win the election. I'm pretty solid on who's going to win the election, but I think they might have a little bit of issue on this. If we understand who's going to win the election, then the economy will pick up in one way versus another. That's what it is. So I would, honestly speaking, I would soak up the dick. Sorry, Sorry, I didn't say that right. I would soak up the dip. Sorry. I would definitely.
Pause. No Diddy.
I know. Sorry. I looked at what he was saying in the chat. I got my letters wrong. I would. Great. My students are never gonna let me live that one down. So I would soak up the dip, and yeah, go for it. Buy some stock, get into a good position. I don't think that a certain candidate is going to win. I think this is going to be a very good business. It's going to be good for business for the next 4 years.
Okay, so Theo, so obviously this is economic turmoil, because this is a very big dip. Okay, so so I'm asking you, Theo, right? You know, as passport bros, okay. Actually, no, even removing passport bros, right? Okay, out of the equation. Okay, could things get worse, Theo? Could we see a bigger drop in the coming days and in the coming weeks, to the point where it's similar to what happened during the coronavirus, when in 2020 there was a massive drop there, which was a crash. Could we get a big crash coming in the future, brother?
No, it's not going to be that bad. Again, the fundamentals. I mean, U.S. unemployment is at 4.3%. I mean, that's, historically speaking, is phenomenal. So it's the fundamentals are going to continue. It's just that, you know, you may not get that bonus that you're looking for, or may not get the raise that you were thinking to have this year. That's about it. There are some changes that we're already seeing with AI go on, so that's going to go on. That's going to definitely happen. So if you have a lower skilled job, you're going to have an issue there. Oh yeah, without a doubt. But as long as you have a high skilled job, you're going to be fine.
Awesome. So Theo, I know you're in the markets. Are there any stocks you're looking at? Obviously, you're not a financial advisor, but is there something? Did you look into buying some stocks today? Was there something you doubled down on DCA? What's your overall sentiment as to what you're focusing on in this small minor crash?
No, I'm actually looking on video production, so making movies, making shorts, doing stuff like that in the Manosphere. So that's what I was thinking about today. How to make my gym in Brazil. Colombians. I said that I was going to go to Brazil, and then some Colombians came out and said, "No, you're going to go to Colombia." So they were pitching reasons to me why I should go to Colombia instead of Brazil. That's the kind of day I had. Work was kind of crap. So I think there was enough an echo within the company with some of the projects that I'm working on that there's not cash flow coming in. This is gonna be an issue. But I was fine.
What would you personally recommend as to what stocks, what funds looking to invest in or to double down on in the market during this dip?
I say focus on what do people buy even when they're poor. So they're going to buy Apple, iPhone, Android, designer bags, things like that. Those kind of products never go out of fashion. So put your money over there. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just an individual. Also, look at the real estate market and look at where you can get value in the countryside, but not metropolitan areas. There's going to be a shift in the next 10 to 15 years away from metropolitan areas back into the countryside. And that's going to be largely because of climate change. So look at, maybe getting an Airbnb or renting a property in Ohio or Indiana, something like that. That would actually make sense to do.
Awesome. Theo, do you believe that Jerome Powell, who's the head of the Fed, if I'm not mistaken, right in America, will he drop rates in September? Because obviously he didn't drop rates last week. No. Do you think that he's gonna be pressured, or he's gonna feel the pressure to drop rates? Because if this happens again, it's a bigger dip or crash. It could be heat for not only him, the country, but Kamala Harris presidency. She definitely doesn't want this happening, brother. And on her campaign to try and be president in America, she needs the economy and the stock market to be running green, brother, if she wants to have any chance of winning the election.
So Democrats have a history of non-interference with the Fed regarding setting interest rates. They usually are pretty above board, like they don't say anything. The GOP has a history of screaming at the Fed and yelling at them and saying, this is not what we want. So I'd personally say that there's a problem right now with the real estate market in the United States, and this is definitely impacting America. And what they need to have is one interest rate for real estate and another interest rate for businesses. And then they need to have a law that you can't funnel money from one to another, which is what that's what they would try to do. If you could get the mortgages down to 2% or 2 or 3% given to the people, and then you were able to give business loans at like 1%, the problem that we have right now would disappear immediately. But you're not able to do that. So if you have the interest rate at like 1%, almost all the money is going to go into speculation and into real estate, which is going to raise the prices of housing in America, and people won't be able to buy a house. They'll actually be renting continuously. That's why we have a dysfunctional market within housing in the United States. It's a vicious cycle that needs to be solved. They're not going to be able to solve it. So what can they do, right? I say to you guys who are listening, the best option is to get a job and then buy real estate abroad. That just really makes sense. You don't want to be paying interest or a mortgage abroad at all. Just go ahead and buy the entire thing at one time, and then you have your unit.
Awesome. Hopefully, brothers buy the right stock, and maybe it balloons up to a couple several grand. So you can use the money to buy a property abroad. Let's hope for that. Let's hope for that. Awesome. So next one to react to. Shout out to Mr. Quiet Storm DJ for the support. I appreciate you, brother, for the hefty donation. Salute to you. I've been working hard for the past several days. I'm teaching Python now, doing the lecture slides, preparing for classes. So this donation means a lot to me, brother. Thank you very much. Salute IP and Phil. Just stopping through for the brothers. Gotta get out the West ASAP. Keisha is relentless at shaming us for not rocking with Kamala. Stay focused. IT is the key. Absolutely, IT is the key to freedom, success, and prosperity. Out the matrix. Fantastic. Awesome. So next one to react to over here, okay?
Have you look at the background, whether or not Kamala is actually black?
She's not black, bro. She's
not black. No,
she's Jamaican Indian. Yeah,
but she's her ancestors are Irish slave owners, which is in and of itself is bad enough. So you have Irish combined with East Indian. And I was looking at this, like I was looking at the photos, like look at her father again, and I was like, no man, you are not black. You're dark, but you're not black. I don't see what the black is. No man, I don't see it at all. So I would say, guys, you need to go look at this really hardcore. I don't see it all. There's no way. Jamaican, yes, 100% Jamaican, but no. Look at the birth certificate. Even on the birth certificate, it said that her mother was Caucasian and the father was Jamaican. That's some whack.
So she's not Black American, she's Jamaican American. Interesting.
Yeah. Okay. She's Jamaican. Yeah, her father is Jamaican, but that's just a nationality. So ethnically speaking, it's more, she has by far more Indian and Irish from her father's side than she has black.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Brothers, you know what to do on November. We've let you know to keep the case. You know what to do in November. You know who to vote for. Please vote for the right person, and you know who that is. Okay. So let's react to Neskip over here, and Phil, this is gonna shock you.
You'd like to...
Damn.
Is there any social change you'd like to see happen in the world?
Definitely more feminism movement. I feel is needed in Japan or in Asia in general.
Do you think that women are discriminated against in Japan in some capacity?
Sometimes because I don't believe in the housewife culture and it's kind of a major marriage sub-rule in Japan.
How do you feel about Japan's falling birth rate problem?
I think that's good. It's another way to, I guess it's another way to show the feminism movement is like taking the progress.
So you think it's a good sign? It's indicating progress for women.
Yeah, why not? If there's not many people there, you don't have to fight over a job. I mean, unless the foreigner come to Tokyo and take your job. I mean, in Japan, as a Japanese, you don't really have to worry about getting a job because many position is opening. Basically, everywhere is hiring. I think the lower birth rate definitely contribute to that.
But aren't you concerned that Japanese people will just cease to exist over time?
I don't think so. Someone will occupy Tokyo. Someone will occupy Japan. It's not a problem. We'll find a solution for sure.
Okay, I sense a Chinese takeover incoming.
Nah, we cannot handle this hot.
Wow. Phil, you just heard, right, a woman in Japan saying that she wants feminism to be in Japan. She wants, she's happy with the falling birth rates, but the key part there, Phil, that shot me, she wants more feminism in Japan, Phil, we definitely don't need any kind of feminism in Japan, Phil, what's your thoughts on this clip, bro? I'm a bit worried here, bro. Break it down for me.
I'm not worried. Just wait until she's 31 years old and she wants to have a family. This idea will change. She's just having her fun right now. That's it. The culture is still strong. It's not gonna. It'll definitely go straight on her and say, look, where's your kid? Where's your baby? So sometimes she probably was educated in the West to some degree. That's why she has her accent. You rarely have a woman who only studied in Japan actually having that kind of accent. So, she's not, she's definitely going to want her kid eventually. That's why this idea will go away.
Phil, I get a feeling that, maybe I'm thinking too deep into it, Phil. There's some sort of hidden agenda, right, by the powers that be, particularly the Western powers that be. And that's which is why we don't need Kamala winning the presidency. Because I know for a fact that Kamala wins, she's gonna try and push feminism in every single corner of the globe, particularly in Japan, right? But aside from her winning, Phil, right, I've got a feeling that someone or people are trying to push feminism in Japan. They're trying to push, woke Western agendas and culture in Japan, Phil. Do you think that's the case, Phil? And do you think that they will succeed in that mission to overrun Japan with feminism and woke Western culture?
No. They could have they try this or that in Japan. It's not going to go that far. It's just the way the Japanese are. They're structurally resistant to outside influences like that. It's not going to happen. Japanese are just very, very strong, and they think in a certain way. If anything, they're going to change your culture, not you change theirs. That's just the way it is. I do think that a certain candidate will try to spread woke culture everywhere. That's definitely true. But as you see, this is again the case study that I always talk about. Let's look at the Marvels versus Deadpool. The Marvels only did like 100 million. I think it was 80 million worldwide. Deadpool has done 300 million so far worldwide. It's not even 2 weeks, total 2 weeks. Yeah, people want to have fun. They don't want to do woke culture. So if some candidate goes around the world trying to do woke culture, she's going to be introduced to a very rude awakening. In Europe, it'll happen. They're already doing that kind of stuff. But Eastern Europe, nope. Africa, no. China, Russia, no way. That stuff's not going to fly there. No, they're going to look at you like, no, sorry, So there's plenty of places where they're going to rebuff this kind of attempt and kind of laugh in woke people's face.
Thanks, Phil. So Phil, you mentioned how Japanese culture will change you. Sophia, I've always wondered, right? Why don't we see a lot more? Not just the forget about the anime manga stuff, right? The anime manga, all that Japanese culture stuff, right? I mean, in terms of the Japanese way of life, the quietness, the introvertness, the family culture, the housewife culture. Why don't we see that in the West a lot more common, brother? In America, in the UK, and in Australia, why is that missing, brother? Do you believe that Japan lacks the global power to impose their culture, in that they can serve the culture in Western culture, or is it happening in the West, but it's happening very slowly? What's your thoughts there, Theo?
Well, I mean, they can only export their culture to a certain degree, which is what they've done. And it's definitely taken hold. How many of us are playing video games constantly? We're buying consoles made from where? How many of us, like, the games are made from where? Where are they, the producers? Anime.
But Phil, but what about Western women behaving like Japanese women? Do you think that a day would ever come like that, where Western women behaving just like Japanese chicks, or is that impossible?
Impossible.
Why is that?
Because Western women will never have the elegance and grace of a Japanese woman. Ain't gonna happen. Nor the wisdom, again, eloquence, ain't gonna happen. Japanese women are totally dominant in this area. It's because Japanese women fully embrace being feminine. They don't want to be masculine. They want to be feminine 100%. They know the benefit of being feminine. Western women do not do that at all. So, yeah, the Western women cannot hold a light or even a little torch up to Japanese women. Ain't gonna happen.
Okay, awesome, great breakdown there. Okay, so next clip to react to, video file. Okay, so let's react to this clip over here.
Women. So do you think that women in Antalya are more open to dating black guys here or in Istanbul?
In Istanbul.
Really? I see more Muslim women in Istanbul, so it seems like it'd be harder there.
No, it's not going to be harder because in Antalya you can only see the black people during the summertime, or we have the local Africans here. So they have like small community over here, but in Istanbul you can see like everywhere. You will see the Spanish guys, Italian, black people, like there are many people over there, so it's much easier dating with black guys in Istanbul, not in Antalya.
Do you think that the women here really like black guys?
I mean, I don't know the others.
Wow.
Yeah.
So we've got Orson Holman out there in Turkey, and he's interviewing this Turkish chick, right, in regards to which is better for black men to date in Istanbul or in Antalya, and do Turkish women like black men? Theo, I want to know your thoughts on this clip first, Theo, in regards to what she's saying. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Break it down for us, bro.
I thought that she was Slavic. I don't think she was Turkish. Someone can confirm that, but if she's Turkish, okay. But I thought that she was Slavic. Yeah, this is actually kind of normal in Istanbul. This is particularly why I thought she was Slavic, was because Slavic women in Istanbul date a lot of black guys. I know that. I've known that for a long time. Yeah.
Oh,
actually a really good market. Well, also if Slavic women, they go to Brazil, they're also looking for black guys, and if they're go to Thailand, they're definitely eyeing black guys. So I mean, I've known that point for quite a while. What she says is entirely correct. They definitely have their eye out there, definitely out there. It's an opportunity. The thing is, I think they're a little bit they have less inhibitions in Istanbul. It's more of a vacation place, so they get that opportunity to meet the guy. It's not just black guys though; they also like Latinos. So they can get either one of them. They'll be pretty happy with that. Again, I would say, guys, go out, date abroad, enjoy yourself. Just be, don't be a womanizer. You'll be just fine.
Theo, have you been to Turkey before?
Yeah, Istanbul.
Okay, Theo. So, what was your experience in Istanbul? Were Turkish women checking for you as a black man, Theo, in Istanbul?
Yeah, they were definitely watching. Yeah, they were definitely looking. I saw that all the time. Black guys over there, they were definitely doing extremely well. I mean, they were dating some really beautiful women. So it's definitely an option. For me, I wouldn't do that. I would just go straight to the source. I wouldn't go to Istanbul. I would just go to Kiev or before the war, Moscow, St. Petersburg, to speak in Russian. Boom, get a fresh one. That's the way I would do it. But you're getting more English speakers in Istanbul. That's for sure.
Okay. Would you date a Turkish woman, Theo? I want to know your thoughts about Turkish chicks, because it's clear that there's a market in Turkey for black men when it comes to Turkish women. From what I see in Turkey, the women that do check for black men. Now, we have a lot of Turkish women in the UK, right? But they don't really check for black men in the UK, Turkish chicks. They only go for Turkish guys, it is what it is. They can do what they want, right? But I heard in Turkey, you step there, there's love towards you from the woman. Now, in your personal opinion, Theo, right? Would you date a Turkish woman? Would you wife one up? And what's your personal thoughts on them, Theo?
They're not my thing. It's just not my flavor. Yeah, I don't particularly go crazy over them, so it's just not my thing. But I'm not saying don't go for it. There's guys who do very well with Turkish women. So yeah, I mean, of course. I mean, why not? It's not my flavor. It's not what I like.
Okay, fair enough, Theo. Fair enough. I would have thought, blonde Turkish chick would be up your speed, but I know you love your Ukrainian woman, brother, so it's all good.
Yeah, I like Slavs. When it comes to blondes, I like Slavs. I like them quite a lot. I like how they act. I like how they're moody. I like how they do things. I can definitely deal with that. So yeah, blonde Slav is definitely do it for me.
Do you think Turkey is worth a trip? It's worth going there as a brother. Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I mean, it's actually very nice. It's a very nice place. There's a lot of good vacation places to go there. A lot of good spas, beach ends. No, hold on. I'm looking at the chat. It says when Theo says it's not my thing, that means is that they cheat a lot. No. What I'm saying is they don't turn me on. Okay, I'm not going to go pursue one of these. If she starts talking in Turkish, I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, I got to get this. I want this to be the mother of my child, of my children. No, when I'm with a blonde in Kiev, I'm like, oh yeah, we're procreating, honey. Yeah, we want 5 kids. Let's start right now, right? That's what I'm thinking when I'm in Kiev or St. Petersburg. So that's just the effect that it has on me. Guys, if you want to go to a beachfront place, something like that, the only thing that I would say is make sure they have good internet access. 50 miles out of Istanbul, you start going to the 19th century. That's something that I observed before. I don't know how it is right now, but that's what I thought it was. So, make sure that you're in an area where definitely the 21st century that has broadband, because most of us are going to be working remote while we're there.
Awesome. Okay, so next one to react to. Okay, so let's react to this one over here. Okay.
生えてる今までヒゲの生えてる男性だったりヒゲが濃い男性とお付き合いしたことってありますか？
あります。
どんな感じのヒゲでしたか？
下顎の方にヒゲが生えてる。
ポジティブな印象でしたか？ネガティブな印象でしたか？
ポジティブです。 ヒゲ好きなので。
外国人のヒゲについてってその日本人に対しての印象と何か違いってありますか？
外国人の方の方がヒゲが似合うイメージ。
ヒゲが生えてる男性とお付き合いしたことってありますか？
はい。
どんなヒゲの方でしたか？
今の彼氏がそうなんですけども、ここの鼻と口の間とあと顎ひげ、どっちも生やしてる人。
ポジティブな印象とネガティブな印象どっちを受けましたか？
ポジティブ？
ヒゲ好きですか？
なんか似合ってればかっこいいからいいかな。
じゃあヒゲが似合う芸能人とかを想像してパッて思い浮かぶのって誰かいますか？
わかんない。誰だろう。誰ですかね。わかんないです。
じゃあもう今の彼氏さんが一番似合う。
そうですね。はい。
So something's changing there in Japan, because Theo told me, and I was taught by other brothers too, that if I want to live in Japan, or if other brothers want to live in Japan, you gotta shave your beard off to get a Japanese woman. Now you're seeing here that these Japanese chicks, right, they actually like a beard on a man, okay? And a lot of dudes, when they go to Japan, they don't want to shave that beard, you know? And I agree, you know, there's some things that they just don't want to shave. They want to keep it on there, right? So it appears that Japanese women are becoming more open towards foreign men who have beards, and that's great news. Phil, what's your thoughts? Phil, you told me that when you were there in Japan, it was all clean shaven to make sure you get a woman. Break it down for me, Phil.
What they're talking about is, in the beginning, they think this is cute. If you get in a relationship with them, they're going to be like, shave. They are Japanese of Japanese. This is not. It's like you're thinking that they're going to say you can wear shoes inside their apartment. Ain't going to happen. You have to take your shoes off. They're strict on this. Shoes inside of their apartments are not going to happen. You have to shave. The likelihood of you having any kind of facial hair long term with if you have a Japanese relationship in Japan is extremely low. All my Western friends who are married to Japanese women, guess what they don't have on their face? A beard. None of them have a beard. None. This stuff that I have right now, I like this actually. This personally, this is kind of fun for me. This would not go. If I had a Japanese woman in my life right now, nope, I shave. Ain't gonna happen. It's the way they are. You can go there and try it, and I don't mind. It's go for it. But you'll face the reality of Japanese women real quick. They'll be like, oh, cute, oh, kawaii, and then after 1 week, ishukan no ato, shave shite. That's how they say, shave shite. Like, shave your face. That's what they're gonna say to you.
Okay, Phil. So, what if you don't have a full-on beard, right? But like a little whiskers on your mustache, little mustache, or like maybe a little I don't know what it's called, but when you have like a long beard or some stubble, right, on your chin, right? Is that a problem?
It's unlikely, but it's not going to go down. Maybe, but not really. Especially if you have an employer, hard. Maybe you could do some things, but not really. It's just not going to work. It again doesn't be a case by case position, but I would say don't think you're going to win. So when I was there, the guys they liked the most, the black men they liked the most were Obama. What's the guy? Oh, I forgot his name. Jay-Z and Will Smith.
All clean shaven dudes.
All clean shaven. All. There wasn't one guy that they liked. They liked guys with dreads, but he shaved. I saw that all the time. So I mean, I'm just telling you guys. You guys want to go there and have your facial hair and everything. I mean, in the society, there's things you can do, but you might get 1 or 2 dates with a woman, sure. But if you want a relationship with her, you're probably going to be shaving that thing. It is very unlikely you're going to have facial hair.
Brother, why don't Japanese women like facial hair?
I don't know. I didn't care. I just said it is what it is. Like they're all like this. It's like a monolith. They were all this way. They're like, okay, fine. I wasn't looking at that. I was looking at Western women. Okay, let's look at Western women. Ah, Japanese women want me to shave? Cool, I'm with them. I don't care. Right? It's just the way it was. It's a small price to pay. I don't care.
Damn, flipping heck, man. I don't know if I'm gonna shave my beard, but nah, bruv. They're gonna have to accept it. Guess what? Feel right. We brothers, right? Black men, we touching down as if we're playing for the Chicago Bulls. They gotta give us that respect, feel right? They gotta tell it. They gotta not bother us, right, to shave our beards, because it's gonna be a problem, feel. It's gonna be a big problem. Feel, guess what, feel? They are gonna change for us. They're gonna change for us, feel, when we touch down. Nah, they're gonna change for us, feel. No, as soon as we touch down, they're gonna change for us, feel. Let's keep it real. Ain't no way a bunch of passport bros gonna shave their beards. These Japanese chicks, right? They're gonna change for us. They're gonna say, "Hey, it's okay. Leave your beard. It's all good. It's all good." And they're gonna be like, "Take me out to here. Let's go for coffee." That's it, Phil. That's what's gonna happen when we go there as passport bros. We ain't shaving nothing, bro. Those women are gonna change for us. Ain't that right, brothers? Ain't that right, Phil?
People who think that way usually find their way back to Narita Airport on a one-way ticket out of Japan. Yeah, that's not gonna work with Japanese women. Particularly in Japan, no way. They have their own power there. You're going to align yourself with their power. That's the way it is. You can manifest it. Okay, sure. Uh-huh. Yeah, you can manifest it all you want. And once you put your hands out, it's going to be a shaver and some shaving cream. That's what it's going to appear in your hands. And then she'll be like, okay, a shaver's day, right? And you're going to be shaving yourself. That's the way it is. And particularly if you are working there, they're going to take you over to the side and say, what's this with the facial hair? So the men are going to say, shave. Right? Yeah. I'm just saying, you could try this barbarian stuff if you want to. I mean, I don't mind. I mean, but that's how they're gonna say you are a barbarian. Yeah, you could be shaving. You could go look around the culture and be like, wow, all these men are all shaved. Okay. I usually go bald. I don't have my hair usually that long. They had no problem with me being bald. They loved it. I thought it was a good thing. So that's what, again, goes to the lack of facial hair. So if I shaved everything off, they were like, cool.
Awesome. Thank you, Phil. So next one to react to. Okay. So let's react to this over here. Okay.
Today, as Israel is on edge today as the country braces for an attack from Iran and its proxies. The Wall Street Journal reports that Iran told U.S. and Arab diplomats it didn't care if a counterattack caused a war in the region. We do know just yesterday, Jordan's foreign minister traveled to Iran for a meeting. President Biden scheduled to speak with Jordanian King Abdullah II today, but there has been very little public Iranian interaction with those trying to avert a crisis. With this in mind, Israel is taking steps to prepare for a prolonged conflict, as reports indicate the initial Iranian response could come in waves and include extensive missile and drone attacks. Iran's top IRGC general saying this today.
When it receives a firm response, it will realize it has been wrong. They keep making miscalculations. They repeated this mistake this time too. They will once again get a taste of our punishment. They will find out when, where, and how we will retaliate. It is ambiguous and indeterminate.
A document sent to mayors of northern cities told officials here to prepare for water outages, power cuts, and evacuations. And in Jerusalem, an underground command bunker for government officials was opened by the Shin Bet security agency. Preparations for war in the north and with Iran comes as fighting rages on inside the Gaza Strip. Israeli negotiators traveled to Cairo, Egypt this weekend for talks about a possible ceasefire, but made no progress. Israel has ramped up strikes against Gaza in recent days, going after Hamas, but killing dozens of civilians in the process. Now today, the top CENTCOM general, Michael Kurilla, is meeting with Israel's defense minister, Yoav Gallant. It gives you just a taste of the interactions and coordination between the Americans and the Israelis amid this heightened state of tension. Harris?
Whoa. So over the past couple of days, we've seen the Hamas leader being unalived, okay, in Iran. Major escalation, right? To unalive the opposition leader in a country like Iran is major escalation, and Iran wants to bite back. Okay, so Iran bites back. Israel is obviously going to bite back. We could see a major war in the Middle East that could spill out to other continents, other nations, and it could potentially be World War III. Okay, that is not only bad news for ordinary civilians in the Middle East, right, but us as passport bros, because a major world war will be a big issue, right, for traveling, logistics, you know, and being a passport bro in general. Theo, so over to Theo, right? Do you believe that Iran will strike Israel? And if it does happen, what could happen, brother, as the after effects of such a strike, brother? Break it down for us, please.
I don't think there's going to be a world war over this. That's overhyped. But Iran striking Israel, yes, that's going to happen. And from what I'm hearing, it's going to be waves of a minimum of 1,000 projectiles being sent at Israel. So at 1,000 at a time. So it'll be like 1,000, and then 5 minutes later, another 1,000. And this could be a combination of missiles and drones. The goal will be to overwhelm the Iron Dome defense system by Israel. It's unfortunate. I mean, there's other things to do in life than to be doing this. And these two players have been fighting with each other, the proxy wars, for how long? It's been my entire life. I mean, there's never been peace between the two. They just keep on going at it. Just frustrating, to be honest. I got better things to do than deal with this crap. I don't get it. It's not going to be a World War III, nothing like that. That's way overstated. But I do think that they're going to do volleys with each other for a while.
But okay, no World War III, but a war in the Middle East is likely.
Not a war in the Middle East, just volleys. Neither one of these countries has logistics to be able to do a ground war. So there's not going to be. How do you do it? There's too much land to go over. It's too easy to knock out logistics. You don't have a logistics train, so you can't do it. What I do think is that while they're doing this volley, the British and the Americans will have their jets up in the air, be shooting things down. But I mean, 1,000 objects, like 5 minutes, 1,000 objects, and another 5 minutes, another 1,000 objects, another 5 minutes, another. That's a lot of targets. Like that's a hard thing to actually defend against. Yeah. I mean, I understand Iran. I understand why they're doing this. It makes sense. I mean, I get their point. I get their anger. So I'm not supporting them, but I'm like, I get it. Yep, you guys are gonna do something. Yep, I fully understand your frustration, your anger, and your emotional desire to do something. I get it. It makes sense because Israel's also has their doing things in a very emotional manner as well. And I think they just need to get it out. You know, that's it.
Wow, Bill. So let's say, right, Iran sends 1,000 rockets, right? Quite a few hits Israel, and there's major casualties. Israel will bite back, Phil, and it could be an even bigger escalation than deleting or unaliving the Hamas leader, and that could be, or it's just go crazy, bro.
Well, they'll send missiles. There'll be another missile strike. That's what traditionally that Israel has done. So they'll just send their missiles over, and then Iran will send their missiles over. But nothing strategic will be established. It's just throwing things at each other. It's not good. There's no win. There's no point of winning. There's no strategic win because there's no strategic goal being done. Just you're doing this on principle. You did this, so I'm going to do this. Okay. So ideally, what you would have are two kids in the school playground. They don't get along. You're like, sure, okay, fine. I'll watch you for 5 minutes. Go ahead and beat the crap out of each other. So they go ahead and beat the crap out of each other. Like, okay, you guys get that out of your system. Okay, good. Well, let's go back into there. You both have detention. Go back to school and go get yourself cleaned up and continue on with life. Unfortunately, we don't have that ability. That'd be really nice. Just let them beat each other up for a while and then just say let bygones be bygones and move on with life. They won't have that. We just don't have that ability with these two.
You're right. It's sad, man. We're hoping for no war. Only peace in the world. Peace. Okay. We hope for peace.
Yeah.
So
Saudi Arabia is not going to go to war over this. They're going to enjoy Persia being hit. Of course, they don't like Persia. So that's going to be an issue. But they're not going to go to war. I mean, Egypt's not going to go to war. No, Turkey's not going to do anything. They're just going to sit there like normal. They'll say things, but that's all they ever do is they yap. That's it. Palestinians will have the same kind of crappy situation that they did before. No change going to be there. Nothing. So nobody's doing anything to actually alleviate the sufferings of the Palestinian people. That's the problem.
Okay, so next one. So in the UK, there's been some major riots, and we're going to react to it because, and I'm going to speak from my perspective, as being a UK brother. Let's watch it.
The protest took place across. More than 100 people have been arrested in London as further protests took place across the country in the wake of the Southport stabbings. Violent incidents linked to the deaths of 3 young girls have been seen in Hartlepool, Manchester and Aldershot. Police in Hartlepool were attacked with missiles, glass bottles and eggs, and a police car was set alight during the violence on Wednesday the 31st of July. In Manchester, demonstrators turned out in large numbers outside a Holiday Inn in what Manchester Evening News said appeared to be a stand against asylum seekers currently being housed in the hotel. In London, a large protest was staged under the title of Enough is Enough, with arrests being made after demonstrators clashed with officers in Whitehall. Demonstrators were seen launching beer cans and glass bottles at police in riot gear in front of Downing Street and throwing flares onto the statue of Winston Churchill in Parliament Square to loud chants of "We want our country back." Road closures have been lifted, but a visible police presence remains in the areas.
So, brothers, there are riots going on over here in the UK, and you probably saw on social media. You see there's been some black men being attacked by white mobs. Okay, one black guy versus 10 white people, etc., etc. And this is random attacks, racist attacks. Okay, that's happening over here in the UK, and there's an agenda behind it. A lot of these people who are rioting are against immigration. They don't like black people, and it's becoming pretty serious. It's been happening over the past couple of days, and there'll be even more riots this week. Now, I want to make it very clear that something's going on in Europe, right? Something's going on in Western Europe that you gotta be aware about. Some of you guys believe that UK is all biscuits, tea, and crumpets. That we all drink and eat dinner with the king, and we all play golf right every Sunday. It ain't the case. It's real things going up over here in the UK, right? To the point where I'm feeling a bit fearful. I guess what? I've got some looks. I've got some really weird looks over the past couple of days, racist weird looks to the point where I'm thinking, yo, could something happen? Could something happen? You know, I'm being honest here. I began some weird looks from white people and other people, right? Even non-white people, right? The way people are treating me, people clutch their bags around me, people are mean mugging me. This is not only white people. This is coming from Asians, Indians, etc., right? It's becoming really, really serious over here. These riots, okay? And a lot of black men are living and walking around in fear, right? I gotta be careful, brothers. I know gotta be careful, okay? So, don't come here anytime soon in the UK. Don't come here, right? You're seeing this sentiment not only in the UK, but in France, in Italy, and other Western European countries. Yo, what's your thoughts here on these riots where it's clearly anti-immigrant, it's clearly anti-black? I could show you a clip of innocent black man being attacked out of nowhere, Theo, by a mob of people. It's insane what's going on here, brother. Break it down for us, bro. Damn.
To be honest, I'm not usually worried about this, because I mean, I just tell them I'm American, and I'm like, if you want some, you can get some. Bring it. I've had French people mess with me before, for various reasons, and I'm like, you should speak German. That's how I am. I really will look at you straight in the eye. I'm like, you want to bring it? Go ahead. I'm pretty big. I'm pretty big, strong black guy. I don't care, especially when I'm just walking down the street listening to music, which is normal for me, and they start messing with me. I know how to defend myself. I would say in the UK, if I were there, or if I were in France, I would just keep myself to the main tourist areas, because there's no way that the police are going to allow you to be attacked there. That's just the way it is. They have too much to lose. Particularly if you are an American, you just look at them like straight out. If you are a boat person, yeah, that's an issue right now. Yeah, that's definitely an issue. We are definitely seeing this more and more in Europe in particular, but also we saw this in the United States. I mean, people are coming up and saying we do not like all of these immigrants coming up over here, and we do not like this situation. And this has to be respected, just the way it is. Guys, how do I say this? How do I really say it? I wouldn't be worried about traveling right now to Europe. I just go ahead and do it as normal. I wouldn't go on the countryside, but I go ahead and travel. It should be okay. But the foreigner issue needs to be addressed. There are a bit too many foreigners coming in. It's an issue. It is, our money is being given to them, and people don't like that. They rather money be given to the citizens who are already there, who are paying taxes. That's a legitimate gripe. Yeah, that's an issue. So this needs to be solved, and I think people should be thinking about how to vote in such a way in order to solve this issue. Not being able to talk about demographics or statistics regarding attacks, particularly in France, just means that one power structure is unwilling to face the truth regarding their policy, their immigration policy. So they need to solve that or be voted out.
Yeah, but I think just to push back here, Theo, right? So, there are some people who aren't happy about immigration, right? But if we look at throughout history, okay, and it's mostly white people that are not happy about it, right? But when we look at, how white people have gone into Africa, into Asia, into India, exploited resources, made billions of dollars, made trillions of dollars, right? Where it's left these countries that they have exploited poor. What are they supposed to do? The countries that, the British Empire has made literally their economy from billions, if not trillions, you know. So, so they can go to other countries, right, make money, live there, but those people from Africa, Asia, etc., can't come to UK and other countries. That's not really fair, right? And that's where these rioters lose that battle. Think about the past. Think about the British Empire. Think about what they were doing back in the day. Do you think that Africans, Asians, and whoever could complain about that? They had to take it. That's the argument for you.
But I don't see Europe being able to properly integrate the amount of people that are coming over, or having any real plan to doing so. The immigrants who come over are largely integrated. And then if we're talking about, again, colonialism, well, when were the colonies left? It is a really long time ago. It's it's over 50.
South Africa. There's Boers. There's still white people in South Africa. Yeah, the Boers. I know these people. They're still there.
The Boers. Well, there's four. Okay. South Africa was colonized. Again, we're talking about the United States in this case. The same thing. Canada colonized. Australia, New Zealand. Those were Africa. Those were colonized, made into countries, European countries, or actually, pawns of the English crown. Okay, but they're bringing, again, having non-English people go over to the UK and live there. At this point, there really isn't a plan for this. And how many, again, all right, when did colonialism end? It's been, I'm 51 years old. Most of the colonies were lost before I was born. So basically, after World War II, very few of these colonies were actually able to be retained. And European countries didn't really recover from World War II until they lost their colonies. So it's been how many years? Right? This is what the people have a legitimate gripe here. They're like, hey, look, in the last 30 years, we haven't gone over to your country and taken your resources and done this and that to your people.
We sure feel they do it through corporations, Shell, Chevron, all these, even that the Boers Diamond Company in South Africa. Those are white-owned companies that have been there since colonization. They do it through other means, Phil. Think about it. Mm-hmm.
But it's not by the government. And usually it is by a black African or an African leader agreeing for these corporations to come in and do what they want and do what they're doing. And you could say that these corporations are doing the same kind of actions to people in the West. I mean, how many, environmental issues do you have in the United States and the UK as well, where a corporation doesn't say the truth and then people get sick, poison, die, blah, blah, blah. That happens. It's the same kind of corporate abuse. But saying that the people are going to come over to the West and live there is unrealistic. The West does not have the capacity to deal with this many people coming over and being able to integrate them. It's not going to happen. And the great example you have of this is France. They cannot properly integrate the Algerian, Tunisian immigrants who have been in their country for over 50 years. They stay separated. They're not going to become atheist. They're not going to intermarry with feminist French women. It's not happening. For the most part, they're staying Muslim and staying in slums and, having having a lot of kids, right? That's continuing, and these slums are violent. And these are in these areas. These are places where I have to look over my back because they can attack me, and I have to be a little quick. I have to be a little quick about it. This isn't going to go away. So, better immigration policies. Sure, get rid of the corporations there if you want to, but you have, for the most part, an English person born today or born last 50 years has no direct relationship to colonialism and is acting this way. Hey, look, I'm not a part of this. I don't like it. I'm not a part of it. And I don't want to have my tax dollars, my tax pounds being used to finance anything regarding this. And now they're rioting. I understand this. This makes sense.
But two things, right? I think we can agree that there's still some effects from colonization that is still affecting numerous countries all around the world. We can agree to that view. And number two, right? Immigration will you can't stop immigration. It's always going to happen because if their home countries are not developed, most people are going to seek for better opportunities. Everyone wants a comfortable life, and the West or Western countries or Western thinking countries are the most comfortable countries in the world, basically speaking. Okay, so people are going to want to keep coming to the West. So until there's a discussion here, in my opinion, as to listen, there's corruption in Africa, in Latin American countries, and certain areas around the world. And if we don't actually address that corruption, and even speak about how Western powers that be feel Western countries play a part in that corruption too, particularly France and the Francophone speaking countries where France controls their currency and doesn't pay them well for their gold and their resources. Until that's addressed, right, immigration is going to keep happening. It's going to keep happening. So that means, sorry, Pio. So that means, right, the powers that be, right, have to give up, that control of Africa, certain Latin American countries, certain Asian countries to curb immigration. Because the only way to stop it is by those countries building themselves up into high-functioning first-world countries. If that doesn't happen, if the continued exploitation of the resources happen, we know that Africa's resources continue to get exploited until this day. Until that stops, then no one can say a goddamn thing about stopping immigration. Just keep it real, Phil.
Wait, so you're focusing on the French. I mean, the UK is the largest abuser regarding colonialization.
I agree.
Yeah.
Phil.
So I mean, it's very bad. So you're saying stop. Okay, exploitation. Okay, that would be a great policy if it's able to be. Okay, so you stop exploitation in the West because there's always exploitation in the West as well. So if you look at the former colonies, or where you're talking about colonies who are independent but who are controlled by corporations, well, usually have a local leader who is corrupt and controlled by the corporations. But then you could be cynical and say, what's the difference between that person and somebody in Washington, D.C. or London? It's pretty much the same thing. From a cynical point of view, I understand that argument. They want to have a better standard of life. Well, I'm not sympathetic with them coming over, to be honest. Not at this point. It has to be on a certain level. There has to be a certain plan. And if you're not doing assimilation, there's an issue. What it should be is that you have proper institutions in their own country, and then capital flows over to their country. There's an industrialization. You actually have a buildup of capital and resources in their country, and then the standard of living increases there. That's the best way of doing it. Like you see in Tanzania. That's actually a very good example. If having them come over to your country is basically a reverse colonialization, and that's not going to work. That people are going to go crazy over this. So again, to some degree, I'm sympathetic, but if this was an argument from the 90s or the 80s, I would be sympathetic to it. Not now. Nah, man. Nah. I can't be sympathetic to this anymore. The British, you're not as strong as a colonial power as you guys used to be. The same with the United States. We're just not going around and doing that. There's just not enough money right now for this. I am somewhat sympathetic to this government, these people, and what they're actually saying. They're like, hey, look, we got rid of the colonies. We haven't been over there. We haven't been able to control these people. They're corrupt over there. It's not our problem. We gave, in the 60s, to the UN, we gave how much money for these projects, and they all disappeared because of corrupt local leaders in Africa. This isn't our problem anymore. We don't care. I get it. I get this. The question is how do you actually do development in Africa correctly so that the people don't want to immigrate and go to the West? No, it's kind of hard to say. You know, let's hope some countries actually do it. But again, I'm cynical.
Theory, you know, in regards to assimilating, right, or whatever the word is, right? You know, in South Africa, white South Africans haven't assimilated in South Africa. There's even white-only towns in South Africa, but where black South Africans can't even go to. White-only towns in an African country. So it goes both ways, Phil. Like the West isn't innocent, bro. The West is not innocent.
Well, I mean, if that is, I doubt that's true now, because they haven't been any. De Klerk hasn't been in power since 1991, and so you haven't seen a white leader in South Africa since 91. Since February 1991, I do believe that was the month. So it's been Africans doing that. So then, again, if that's true, that would be the Xhosa who are implementing a policy of white only. It's not Afrikaners or English doing that. They don't have power like that right now, right? I don't have a problem with what they're doing. I mean, at least apartheid is gone. Okay, good, but they have so many other problems. Can they actually solve them? I don't know.
Okay, awesome, great discussion there. Great discussion there. Keep safe if you're in the UK. Keep safe if you're in the UK. Phil, so how much time do you have left, Phil? Can we carry on, or how much time left?
We have a little bit more time.
Awesome.
You're saying that white people are controlling. Again, I'm looking at the chat. You're saying white people are controlling Africa. No, I don't think so. I think that white people, Europeans in particular, are afraid of doing anything in Africa, because if they do something, they'll be labeled as colonialists or colonizers, and they don't want that from a political point of view. So this, again, their ability to do something is very limited. It wasn't like before. They actually were troops, and a lot of things are going on. It's not like that right now. So you're talking about soft power? Well, there is some soft power going on through corporations. Sure. Yeah. But ultimately, you have local leaders who are in power based upon the local population. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't. This is why it's hard. This is a harder thing. Like if this were the 70s and this conversation were happening, I'm like, oh yeah, do this. Now, harder, much harder, much harder conversation.
Okay, right. So let's react to this one over here.
This, my friends, is what it takes to marry a Nigerian girl. So I have a list here, and this is the dowry list. This is what her father gave me and signed of all the things that I need to gather to marry my beautiful bride. And so on this list, there are things like yam, there are things like cola nuts, alligator pepper, dried fish, all of these things I need to buy, 39 items in total. There's a live goat. I need to go to the goat market to buy an actual live goat. I've got to get honey. I've got to get sugar. I've got to get palm oil. I've got to get ground oil, anything you can imagine. And this is a lot. There are a lot of things. So I'm here in Mushin today, and I'm starting on this list of all of these things. I need to marry a pure Nigerian ge, a Yoruba ge. So, my friends, it's a lot of things to marry a Nigerian, a beautiful bride like I have. But it is worth it, my friends. The women are beautiful, the women are kind, they're strong, and I'm so excited to get married to Adenike. But we've got a lot of things that we need to collect. So this dowry list, 39 items in total. And it's a lot. It's going to take several days to get all of these. We got to go to several different markets, but it is worth it.
Wow. So compare that to what the average American woman wants, Phil. The average American woman wants you to spend your salary, was it your salary, times 2 on a wedding ring. So if you're earning 50K, right, a year, you're going to spend 50K on a wedding ring. Or if she wants it times 2, 50K times 2 is 150K, right? 150K on a wedding ring. Notice how that wasn't mentioned in this clip. Notice how you mentioned it was food, honey, pepper, goats, and that's nowhere near 50K. So do you see the clear difference between dealing with a foreign chick and a Western chick? You know, just you buying a flipping wedding ring to make you go broke. Just you buying a couple food, pepper, goats, or whatever souvenirs is peanuts in the grand scheme of things. So do you see why it's incredibly important for men to get their passports and travel? It really is a different world abroad out there. And we have this man over here who sounds American. He's out there having the time of his life in Nigeria. Again, clear differences here. Western women make you go broke. Foreign women keep a belly full and don't require the whole world. What's your thoughts on this clip here, Mr. Theo Waff?
I think he's in love. I think he's happy. So good for him. I think he's happy with his situation, and I praise him for that. So go for it. You know, that's what I would say right there. If he does one thing or another, go ahead. Regarding the ring, normally it's 3 months wage to be put into the ring. I think this is ridiculous. This is created by diamond cartels, blah blah blah. It's a bunch of crap. But you have a lot of Western women who are into this. When I was married in Japan, she never cared. This wasn't an issue at all. We did Cartier. I love Cartier rings. But she was just happy to have it, just happy to be married. So, guys, I think this is more authentic than the situation. You could have this kind of situation in another country where you're just kind of happy, you're going with the flow, and you're able to get married and you're happy. So go with it, guys.
Theo, so what's your thoughts on Nigerian women, brother? Would you see yourself marrying one? Do you check for them? Are you interested in them at all? Had they been interested in you, Theo? Break it down for me, bro.
No. just no. I'm not going to comment on Nigerian women. I mean, you guys could comment on that all you want. Okay, I'm just out of that conversation. Okay, more power to you guys. That's all I gotta say.
Well, what if she was half Ukrainian, half Nigerian? Is that okay for you, Theo?
No, I'm not gonna do that either. No, sorry, that's just not gonna happen. There's there's a population of half Nigerian, half Ukrainian in Kiev. Yeah, my friend did a documentary on them, so there actually is a population on there. I have no desire for that at all.
Hey, Theo loves his white woman, huh?
No, I mean I like other women. I mean Asian, Latina, but I'm just not doing Nigerian. If I were gonna do African, it would be the two countries I would do would be Tanzania and Ethiopia. That's where I would do my stuff. But Nigerian, no. You guys can go for it. I'm not saying anything bad about it. I'm not saying any comments. I'm just saying, nah.
Shout out to Theo, man. Shout out to Theo. Brothers, you go for them if you want to, brothers. Good luck to you, brothers, if you go for a Nigerian chick. All right, so
go for it. I no objections here. You guys want to go for it? This not a problem. Just not. I know Nigerian women here in America and Texas, and I'm just like, yeah, no, I'm not going to do that.
Shout out to Theo. Right, next one to react to.
There is no denying that Ibrahim Traoré, the 35-year-old president of Burkina Faso, is setting a new standard for African leaders through his actions. In contrast to his counterparts who often fail to fulfill their promises, Traoré consistently delivers on his commitments to the people. A recent example of this was when he expressed his intention to step down from office, prompting citizens to take to the streets and demand an extension of his transitional period for another 5 years. Now, recently, Ibrahim Traoré has made headlines once again with his recent groundbreaking initiative. Burkina Faso has officially established a Treasury Deposits Bank with Captain Ibrahim Traoré at the helm. This significant development signifies Burkina Faso's progress towards reclaiming its monetary independence. It's important to note that Francophone countries do not have their own central banks. Despite the existence of the Central Bank of West African States, BCEAO, it operates as an extension of the Bank of France. Previously, Francophone nations were reliant on the Bank of France to hold their gold reserves due to the absence of their own central banks. However, with Burkina Faso's recent revision of its mining code, the country will now have the ability to build and maintain its own gold reserves. Anticipated to be completed by September 2024, the first gold bars produced in Burkina Faso are a testament to this development. The establishment of the Treasury Deposits Bank empowers Burkina Faso to conduct financial transactions independently.
Wow. Wow. So Burkina Faso is making big moves here. Okay. So you just heard here that France controls Francophone Africa's currency. Okay, which is absurd. Okay, to me, that's essentially financial colonialism. Okay, what country is controlling the UK's currency? What country is controlling America's currency? Nope, it's independent, it's American, it's English. Whereas an African country has a currency controlled by France. That makes no sense. That's quite absurd to me. That's insane. So this guy here, Ibrahim Traoré, is making great moves in Burkina Faso. Okay, he has introduced a Treasury Deposit Bank and a new currency for financial independence. And this is how you gain power. This is how you gain independence from the Western powers that be. In their case, it's France. So this guy is making big moves in Africa, right? You know, to become a powerhouse, not only within the African nation of Africa, continent, sorry, but on a global scale. So they have a lot of gold there in Burkina Faso. That gold can back up their currency or vice versa. That gold can be sold in their currency. So you see the big moves he's making here ever since he became in power. Phil, we spoke about this a couple of weeks ago in regards to Burkina Faso. And you said that you had your doubts here. You said, I want to see more. It's cute. I want to see more. Phil, this is what you want to see, Phil, right? You know?
When I say more, I'm talking 5 to 10 years of actions. Not just another quip. He's just talking right now. So let's see some actions over a long period of time. He's starting things. This looks good, but just wait. That's all. I mean, I am skeptical. Like again, I like what Ozzy is saying right now. You know the drill. That I agree with that point of view. Wait. That's all. Wait. Let's see how it goes.
Theo, at least there's action being taken here, and it's not just speaking, and it's not just, you know, things we want to achieve. It's being done right now, and they're actually doing it. And that's a problem I've had with African countries. You know, do it, just do it. Just make that move. Guess what, right? I know there's been some deletions in the past by Western powers that be, right? But if you're a leader, you know what comes of it. Even if you lead a country like America and the UK, you know your life could be in danger in any shape or form, whether it's on home soil or abroad. That's where it comes with being a leader of a country. So you know what comes of it, okay? And if you ain't prepared to risk it all and be potentially deleted, then you can't lead a country, in my opinion. In my honest opinion, That comes with the drill, Phil. You know I'm right here when I speak of that particular matter. So this guy, Phil, right, he's doing it. He's doing it, Phil. You know, this here is big moves, bro. Look at me, bro.
But again, results. So I always say, just wait. That's it. Let's see what happens. This looks cute right now. Okay. Let's see what happens afterwards. Again, you see the history of Africa and colonialization. There's just too many sad stories. You know? So I'm always skeptical. I hope for the best. That's it. Prepare for the worst.
Okay, you know, we're hoping that God leads this man, you know, to the top, man, and he can change his country, and the Burkina Faso can emerge amongst as an African powerhouse. It's time for an African country to become a first world country and a powerhouse. Asia has 5 countries, Phil. Asia has 5 first-class powerhouse countries: Japan, South Korea, Taiwan, Hong Kong, China, Singapore. Incredible. We need several first-class countries like those Asian countries to move mountains, to shift the paradigm. Because we are in 2024, bruv. We're in 2024. How long do we have to wait? How long? We're tired. Because guess what, Phil, right? I believe that our condition as black men worldwide, because we are at the bottom. We know we're at the bottom. And that will only change if Africa and the Caribbean rises. Because the reason why Chinese people are doing well so right now, they got China, right? They are the backing of China. The reason why Korean people are doing so well right now, being prosperous, they got the backing of South Korea. Same for Japan, Taiwanese people, Hong Kong, etc., etc. We don't have that backing, Phil. Do you think Europe is going to look after us as black men? No. Do you think America is going to look after black men? No. We need our own people, right? We need, people that look like us to back us up. We need that first world African country. Ain't that right, Phil?
It'd be nice, but again, let's see what happens over time. That's it. I mean, I really wish I could be more optimistic. I've just seen too much stuff over it. I mean, it's small moves. I hope that we as a group are able to achieve our goals that we have. We're able to become passport bros and actually be abroad. I hope that we are able to get wives correctly, that what we want. But even there, I'm not even entirely hopeful. I'm cynical. Again, it's just part about being realistic about the situation. I work for the best. I work for hoping the best in everything. But the reality is that reality might be very different from my hopes. So I wish him the best. That's all I can say about this person. I wish him the best. Maybe there's a place that we can do some investing, which would be great. But no, man, no. I'm sure you're wondering why am I so pessimistic? I remember when again I remember when de Klerk left power and what's his name? Mandela. He returned to power correctly, or he was installed in power in South Africa. And there was so much optimism, think this is going to change, this is going to happen, and this is going to happen. And then I look after 30 years, so I'm like, yeah, it's not okay. Well, at least Tanzania is developing. I mean, there's war. There's no war in Angola. Nambia is improving itself. Okay, but there was a genocide before. There's still wars. There's still corruption. There's still a lot of problems. There's still diseases going around, like HIV/AIDS in certain areas that are there's a rampant problem. There's a lot of problems that have not been solved, and some people are saying it's getting worse than it was previously. Yeah, I'm pessimistic. That's all I can say.
I'm optimistic, Phil. We need optimism, or we won't get anywhere about optimism, right? We have to be optimistic when we go for exams, when we study for exams, or do things, and it's the same case for me here. So let's hope for the best, and we hope, we wish them success. Yeah.
Don't be an obstacle in their way. That's for sure. Right. So I mean, if you can put part of your portfolio into this, great. As Clinton said, historically, return on investment in Africa has been 30% per year. That's good. I like that. So do some investment if you can, a little bit. Part of your portfolio. But all too often, a great leader in Africa doesn't stay around that long. So let's just protect the man and hope he gets some of his plans in place.
Yes, indeed. Right. Next one to react to.
That are
So this is Donald Trump speaking about Young Thug. You know who Young Thug is, right, Phil?
No. Introduce him to me.
Oh wow. So are you serious?
No. Okay,
interesting. So okay, let's try this next because it'll be a long explanation. Okay. You don't know who Young Thug is? Okay, interesting. Okay.
No, wow. I don't. There's something I know about. Maybe if he's Ukrainian or Japanese, I would know, but no, I don't know. I'm not really paying attention to the campaign and what he's doing right now.
So Young Thug, right, is a rapper, okay, from Atlanta, Georgia. He's currently on trial, a part of a RICO case. You know what RICO is, right?
A RICO?
Yeah, RICO case.
No. What's that?
Are you being serious, Phil?
No, I don't know what these rapper stuff. I'm not involved in this. I'm not thinking about what rappers are doing. Yeah, that's like what Ozzy said. Young Thug, Pookie rapper, irrelevant. That's right. I would never think about this.
Okay. So basically, right, he's a rapper. He got caught in a RICO case. So a RICO case is where the U.S. government gets arrests a whole bunch of people, okay, who are linked to some sort of criminal activity. So
racketeering is racketeering. Yeah. That's what happened. Okay, I got that.
Yes.
Okay.
So obviously he's on trial right now. Everyone's saying free him, but he's a bad person, right? He raps about nonsense, and Trump speaks on him. Okay, and people are saying that Donald Trump is saying free Young Thug. So let's see what Trump is saying about Young Thug here.
Sure.
These patriots that are being all terrible, they're going after him. And I hear Young Thug is being treated. I heard the name.
Yeah.
I heard it from other people where they say he's being treated very unfairly.
Very unfair.
So he's got to be treated fairly.
Please.
So Theo, right? Why is Donald Trump speaking about a rapper called Young Thug? Now people are saying that he's pandering to the black community, and in my opinion, I think that's quite offensive because speaking about a rapper and saying that he's pandering to the black community insinuates that all black people care about is rap, which is absurd. So, Theo, do you believe that Trump has gone all out for the black vote by speaking about rappers, about this guy's case in prison? And do you think that this may sound ignorant here, but him speaking more about black culture and black rappers could win him the black vote? Theo, what's your thoughts here?
Well, Kamala would pander by putting this person into jail. She's actually advanced her political career by putting many black men into jail. So there's kind of a difference between Trump and Kamala here. Trump has he is exonerated or pardoned how many black men? Whereas Kamala is quite the opposite. She's put them in jail. And they're both doing it for political gain. I'd rather have just from a Machiavellian point of view, I'd rather have the get out of jail candidate than the put me in jail candidate. Just if they're both pandering, get me out of jail. Thank you. I mean, I'll take that. I mean, that's good. So less taxes, not going to put me in jail. Okay, good. Or more taxes and going to put me in jail and say that she's a good person because she put me in jail. Oh, okay. And again, we had Megan doing her twerking with Kamala. That was just happening over the weekend. There's nobody twerking here, thank God. We don't definitely want to watch these people twerk. Yeah, I think Trump is doing the right thing here. He's on the right path.
But it's one thing to pander, right? You know, to black people, and I guess it's election time. People are gonna look at, okay, what do black people like on average? What do Asian people like on average? And let's pander towards them. It's one thing to pander towards a group of ethnic people, whatever you want to call it, people who are not white in America. But Theo, do you think Trump likes black people? Do you think he likes black people and he actually cares about black people's concerns, black men's concerns? Or do you think Kamala actually cares for black people and black men? Or Trump cares for us, Theo? But I'm keeping it real with us, Theo, because it's pandering time.
Kamala doesn't care about black people. She specifically stated that she wouldn't choose a policy that specifically benefited black people. Whereas, what is it? Trump advocated for the platinum plan or I forgot, some P plan, platinum or palladium. I forgot what it was, but that was a plan that was actually promoted by Ice-T, and it actually would promote and benefit black men quite well. And so he was talking about that before. That's something. Kamala isn't doing that. So I'm not really care if Trump likes me or not. I think are his policies going to benefit me? That's it. Because without a doubt, Kamala doesn't like me. She put me in jail in order to make herself look good. And then, she's going to go ride the CC again and be with how many men? I don't, why would I, he's just going to go out with a blonde. I'm probably going to like that blonde anyway. I won't want him, but I will want her afterwards. But at least, he has decent taste in women, that's for sure. Okay. Well, I get you. I don't necessarily like you, Trump, but I kind of, okay. Well, at least you're not going to put me in jail, that's for sure. You're going to lower my taxes. Okay. I could deal with that.
Yes, I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. Robert, do you know who to vote for in November? It's very clear who's best for filling your pockets and just getting the woke stuff out of the way. Vote for the right guy, please, okay? Don't let us down, Passport Bros. Please do not let us down. I don't want to wake up one day and in November 5th, whatever, and see a certain woman winning. I don't want to see that.
No,
so,
I gotta stop. I gotta go to work. But I do have this. I'll say one thing. If Trump ever came out and straight out said, "I'm supporting mandatory paternity test at birth," I would actually come out in front of my liberal friends and say I'm voting for Trump. That is right now. That's something that's very dear to me. So I think that all children should be tested at birth for paternity, and if there is no paternity test, then no man can sign the document.
What does
straight out? The birth certificate.
Okay.
And that is something that is really important. I think that it would benefit us quite a lot if he did this. So if Trump said that, he goes, yeah, we're going to do this at birth. There's all these other tests we do, and we're going to do paternity as well. I'm like, good. Thank you. At least for 4 years, I know you're going to do some crazy stuff, Trump. I know it's going to be so crazy. I won't listen that much. I'll just turn the TV off, but at least you'll give that to me. And that's something I need. And my children are going to need that as well in the future. So let's go for it. I'll dance with the devil in order to get that achieved.
However, feel right. Is that on his agenda? Is paternity testing even near his agenda? I don't think he even spoke about that once before. Or is it around his campaign? He hasn't spoken about that before.
No, he hasn't talked about that at all. I'm just saying, if he did, if that were a part of it, boom, done. He could probably get 80% of the black male vote if he did that. Straight out. I mean, men would be like, right on, bro. Yeah, we can't trust these hoes here. So we need to have the mandatory paternity test. And then we have 4 years of Maury, basically, all these kids being tested, and you're not the father. You're not the father. Oh, I love it. I'd be laughing next 4 years. I'd be like, yeah, this is good. So you're talking all this woke stuff. All right, you're doing all this, but you're not the father. You're not the father. I love it. Like, again, sign me up for that. I'm down for that. So
anyway, sorry, bro. So when it comes to birth certificates, right? When you sign it and you say you're the father, does that mean you can't get a paternity test anymore? And does that mean even if you do get it and it's your child, you're still the father and you're still liable for the child's bills?
So the way the law is here is that if you do a paternity test, let's say you sign the birth certificate, then you do a paternity test. If you're not the father, even if you have hard evidence, if there's a divorce, you can be sued for child support. So then you have to go through a lengthy process in order to show your innocence, that you're not supposed to be a part of this. This is corrupt. This is the number one reason why I do not attempt to shag any woman in the West. Zero. I will not do anything with her just over this one point alone. This is impossible. Why this is done? This, everybody knows this is wrong. Why are the laws like this? And then this is primarily affecting black men. It also affects white men. And it's just like, oh, it's okay, it's fine. No, it's not fine. So we have to have the paternity test. So yeah, I don't think Trump hasn't talked about it. I'm just saying this is my personal hope that Trump does this.
How do you feel a woman would feel like, if there was a law saying that, there must be paternity testing at birth? Do you think how do you think a woman would take that feel?
Women have already come out and say this is unnecessary and taxpayer dollars shouldn't be used on this. I wonder why. Oh, it shouldn't be done. But if I want to have baby deletion, it should come out of insurance. Yeah. But everything else should come out of the government, right? Of course. But, oh no, you want to do this? You're being misogynistic. You're sexist. You're bad. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, let's get the test.
So you do know, right? If you ask a woman to do a paternity test, right? Even though she definitely is the mother of your child, right? But you still want to do it, that could actually break the relationship apart. She might be like, she might say, you don't trust me anymore, blah, blah, blah. And that's how you break away, and that's how a relationship might break down. So what's your thoughts about that, Theo?
That's why the government needs to put it mandatory at birth. Yeah. And particularly because you have these women who have conned men and then they're holding this over him. No, man, you just do it and say, this is being done. And we don't care. This is going to be done at birth. Right now, 30% of DNA tests are proving that you are not the father. And I had my own situation. I did my DNA test. Let's just say I discovered my mother lied.
Whoa.
Oh yeah, she definitely lied. I recommend, officially, black men, go get a paternity test. Do not trust anything that they're saying. Go get a paternity test. The amount of lies going on is so intense. Just go for it, and you will definitely find the truth. The things I found, I was sitting back. I was like, "Oh, you lied, and then you lied, and then you lied." Right? So yeah, get it at birth, guys. Don't sign the document. If any woman says you're the father, get a paternity test first and make sure, because women really like lying in the West over this. They want your money and then they lie.
Shout out to you, Phil. You gotta go. Salute to you, Phil. Thank you, brother, for your time. Much appreciate, bro.
Yeah, had a good time. Yep, I had. This was a good one. I think this is it'd be a lot of good sound clips for you. So enjoy it. See you guys. I gotta go back to work.
Salute to you, Phil. We appreciate you, brother. Awesome. That's Phil over there. Awesome, brothers. So that is the end of the stream, brothers. Make sure, brothers, you make sure you join the Patreon. Okay, join the Patreon, please. Not only for intel on stocks, crypto, and traveling and foreign women and how freaky foreign women are in the bedroom, but join the Patreon to support me as well. Okay, you can join the diamond tier. You can support me as I do this journey. It's not easy streaming at, right now it's 4:19 a.m. in the morning, right? It is 4:19 a.m. in the morning. So if you can support me doing what I do here, right, please support me, man, because it's tough, man. And I've been doing this for almost 10 years. And if you can support me on the Patreon by just donating to me every month, and you even have content there, over 100 videos for you to watch, plus stocks and crypto intel, it's worth it, man. So please support me. Let's open up the phone lines if you want to call in and speak about what we discussed here. We can go on for another 20 minutes. I gotta go to bed, man. It is 4:20 a.m. in the UK. I gotta get some sleep, man. I'm running on Duracell batteries over here. Okay. If you want to support me, hit the PayPal, man. Hit the super chats. I would prefer PayPal. You gotta bear in mind that YouTube takes a 40% cut of every single PayPal donation. Sorry, every single super chat donation. Plus, payment processors take their cut too. So I hardly get anything in the super chat. So if you can hit the PayPal, that's great. If you don't have PayPal, super chats are fine. But if you have PayPal, support me on PayPal, okay? Whichever works for you, super chats or PayPal, okay? So please support what I do, okay? If you want to call in, your time to call in is right now. So I'm going to wrap up the stream very soon. I gotta get some sleep, I'm super tired. So if you want to call in, call in. But yeah, support me. Hit the like button. Support me as to what I do, please, man. You gotta support. You gotta support, man. Okay, please support what I'm doing. Join the Patreon. Join the Patreon. Okay. Here is here's a link to my Patreon in the live stream chats. Okay, there you go. Awesome. Anyone call in? Okay, we'll wait for Alexander to call in. If you want to come on the channel for an interview, you can hit me up on Instagram. Okay, there's a link to my Instagram over here. Okay, and send me a DM on Instagram. I will get back to you. Okay, I will get back to you. All right, give me a second. Let me just do something real quick on my laptop. It's bugging out. Let's see. Fuck. Flipping heck. Mr. JM, can you turn your camera on in the background so I know you're not a troll? Yep, you're good. Thank you, JM. Jane, can you turn your camera on in the background so I know you're not a troll, please? You're good, Jane. Turn your camera off. Let me bring in JM first, Jane. I'll bring you in after. What's going on, Jan? How you doing, bro?
Hey man, I didn't get to keep the stream today, but I wanted to call you because I wanted to personally thank you for encouraging me to continue my study in Japanese. I retried it again. The first time I studied for a month, made no progress, but after tweaking my study habits and my style, I'm finally making progress. So I told myself I'm gonna go to Japan next year, and I really want to practice my Japanese and get to a decent level. I know I'm not going to be anywhere near fluent, but before I feel like I was making absolutely no progress to the point where I just gave up. And now I'm finally starting to see some progress. And honestly, it was thanks to you and Theo that I've been able to, to do that. So I just wanted to call and personally thank you for that, man.
No problem, bro. So, brother, what are you using? What resources are you using, and how are you studying Japanese?
Okay, so I asked you about this last time. When I got success, right, for now, because I'm just focusing on the hiragana and the katakana, is I actually use Duolingo. And this is what I recommend people who first are studying Japanese, because what most people will tell you is when you're first studying Japanese, to master the hiragana and the katakana, if you don't know about Japanese, there's three writing systems: hiragana, katakana, and kanji. The first two is pretty easy to learn. You should be able to learn it in like 3 weeks. But I think the easiest way, because I tried a bunch of apps or I tried using flashcards, and that didn't work for me. What ended up working for me was using Duolingo. So if you go to Duolingo, you type in Japanese. What I recommend is do not do any of the lessons of the courses, and you'll find out later why that is. Go to the word section, the kanji section, and they'll have lessons for hiragana and katakana. So I didn't do any of the lessons, right, about like the words or lessons. I didn't do any of that stuff. All I'm doing right now is just practicing my hiragana and katakana. And Duolingo is great for that because it comes in a very logical way, it comes in a very logical approach. So like for example, I know you know way more Japanese than I do. But when I was first learning Japanese, I thought there was only 46 characters, right, of hiragana. But there's actually a lot more than that because based off like syllables, if they have quotation marks, circles, it could sound different, right? Like you're aware of that, right?
Yeah. Awesome. Nice one, Jan. You hear me?
Yeah, no, I hear you. Do you hear me? Did you hear what I said?
Yeah. You dropped off. Are you aware of that? And I said, yeah. You dropped off for a bit. Carry on.
Okay. No, what I was saying was that it's just more than just the 46 characters. There's a lot more than that. If you have different syllables, it'll change the way that things sound. And also, if you have like lowercase syllables, like "su," if it's lowercase and it's connected, it will change the way it sounds. I now learned that Japanese is a rhythm-based language, right? It's different from English. It's based off rhythm. But Duolingo is great for mastering the hiragana and katakana. It teaches it very well. And the reason why I recommend not doing any of the lessons is because if you're a cheapskate like me and you're not paying for Duolingo, if you make mistakes and you run out of hearts, you can just quickly, easily gain the hearts again by using practice, because they're only going to question you based on how far you got, based off the main story path. So for me, it's just water, sushi, rice, like gohan, mitsu, stuff like that. So it's very easy for me to get the hearts again. I just keep using that to practice my hiragana and katakana. But that's what I've been doing right now, and it's actually it's crazy. I'm like all the stuff that I've learned, right? I can actually now write it in hiragana. Like I now know byakugan and all that stuff. It's crazy. But anyway, yeah, I just want to thank you so much for that, because before I had made absolutely no progress, and now I'm actually making progress. So yeah.
Good stuff, bro. I need that vegan recipe. So when you can, email it to me, please, bro. Recipes.
Okay, I'm so sorry about that. Let me put an alarm on. You know what? I'll do this right now. Let me just make sure. I'll get that to you before week's end. Let me put an alarm right on my calendar right now, so that way I don't mess it up with you. Man, I'm sorry about that. I also got to talk to you about Brazil again, man. Now that I've been here for 6 months and I speak Portuguese pretty good. There's a lot of things I said in the first interview that I want to renege, or at least want to critique. I think my first interview when I was talking about Brazil was based off a gringo experience if you don't speak any Portuguese. But once you actually have a decent master of the language, life's a lot different. But anyway, yeah, I will definitely send it to you. I apologize. I'll get that to you. That's my fault. And let me make this the last time of me saying this, and I'll just get that to you, right?
Thank you, bro. Much appreciated, Jam. So let me bring in Jane in the background. What's going on, Jane? How you doing, bro?
Yeah, hello, I'm good. Thank you for having me on here. I want to talk about the live stream topic a little bit. But before that, I do want to introduce myself. I'm currently a student. I'm pursuing my applied associates in data systems and development. And then in 2026, I'm going to move to Egypt to get my computer science degree at the American University in Cairo. So, right now I'm just really locked in on focus. But this stream actually came at the right time because I had this on my mind because, I live in America and I notice when I go to stores, fast food places and stuff, I would see other groups of people, other racial groups like take over. And I would ask myself, how come we can't do that? Like I'll go to different restaurants and I'll see like Indian Americans there. And I notice like, okay, like they'll get a job and then they'll have their friends and family and all that stuff, and get into that same job and then they'll take over. And then I'm like, how come we can't do that?
Facts, bro. Absolute facts. Yep. Over here in the UK too, they're doing KFC, they do it at Wendy's, they do it at Popeyes, Wingstop. Yeah, it is it's something that I've noticed too. And
Yeah,
I don't agree with that. Go on, bro.
The Middle Eastern community too, like people that come here, and also like I also notice, Mexican people doing the same thing. So like when I first, read the title of this live stream, about the community, which I can't even call it a community because when I see other communities and I compare it to like what we do, like we don't do anything for ourselves. Like the same way, like the example we're just talking about, like we don't help each other get into the same positions, and take over a field,
Facts. But we will very soon tech. We've got plans for that. Absolutely. We'll take over tech in the near future.
Yep.
Definitely will.
Yeah. So thank you for having me on here. I just want to say that.
Go on, Jam.
Now, I just wanted to hear. I want you to elaborate further on that IP because I think you said this before, and personally, I agree. This is something that I've personally vetted. I'm done with the black community, man. Like this whole black community, it don't exist, right? You'll have people, and they'll use you when you're up, and then when they're up, they'll discard you. That's not how that works. I've had honestly people treat me better from other communities than the black community. So I just, unless they're like, they're foreign black or they're not American black, I personally don't subscribe to the black community. I need to vet you before I can trust you like that.
Yeah, I went through the same thing.
Go on, Jam.
Yeah, I was gonna say like I went through the same thing, and what I noticed is that when I would bring certain things up, I'm like, okay, like we need to do better. How come things are this way? I noticed like Black people and also like Black women in my family and in my extended family, they were upset with me for just speaking on that. And I'm like, why are you so upset with me for speaking on a problem and you're not mad at the actual problem themselves? Like you're saying that, I'm hard on, Black people or the Black community when I'm talking about, our problems and how we can apply ourselves to fix our situation. But you don't have the same energy for brothers that's out here making this all look bad. You don't have the same energy for brothers rapping about, deleting other brothers. You don't have the same energy for brothers, that's out here giving us a horrible image. But they're mad at me, educated brother that says, hey, this isn't right. We need to do better. Like we have so much talent to where if we apply it, we could carve out a better situation. And it made no sense. How are you more mad at me for pointing that out and want to do better than the brothers that's destroying the community?
Facts, absolute facts, man. Great points here, brothers. Great points. So I need to head off, man. So do you have any closing statements, Jane?
Yeah. Once again, I just want to thank you for having me on your platform, and to anybody that's still here and listening, I'll just say, distance yourself and also have a worldwide point of view. There's more to us. There's more to Black people, and there's more to Black culture than America or the UK. There's Black people in South America, Africa, parts of Europe, parts of Asia. You could leave the American Black community and join, an African Black community or any other community, with brothers and sisters that are really serious about doing something. So that's my closing statement, and thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, man. Mr. Jam, any closing statements?
For the brother, because he sounds young. In my opinion, man, focus on yourself, build up your skills. You're not gonna change people, man. People will learn on their own. You're not gonna change people. So just focus on building your skills. Build yourself up first, and then maybe once you build yourself up, right, you can build others. But right now, you're young. Just focus on yourself. And then again, IP, I just want to thank you again for reinvigorating my love for Japanese. Honestly, like I just didn't think I would get this far. So I mean, I'm just surprised how far I gone. So anyway, but that's it. That's pretty much it. And I'll send you the recipes. I know I've said this twice before, but I'll make sure this is the last time. Appreciate it. Talk to you later.
Thank you, bro. Look after yourself, Jam. Appreciate you, bro. Awesome. All right, brothers. Have a great week ahead, and I'll see you, brothers, on the next